Hey there guys, Captain Recolor here with another video. This time it's a shorter commentary. It's a Recolor's commentary shorts, actually. And who is on? You guessed it. Another attack by a Recolor hater.
Yes, because recolors are so superior to original drawings that were done by hand. How dare anyone have a negative opinion on recolors?
This time it's not only Youngblood Fantasy. No, he got what he deserved.
Wait, you mean that video that you made a month ago on Youngblood's commentary on Gyro from 2 years ago? Hobbs got what he deserved? I'm sorry, sir, I think your brain might be on backwards. Old subject was old and didn't need anything more to be said about it, and you say the same things that you say on that video with this one here.
This time I am talking about Mr. Sir Raven. What a trollish name. Anyway, let's get started.
So lately I've been seeing this excuse from Sonic Recolors regarding their art, that their FCs are not recolors, but tracings, and tracings are better than recolors. To be honest, what's the difference?
Okay, here's the difference. The difference is when you recolor, you color it or make a template to make it original. When you trace it, color it in, or color whatever color you want. Then that way it's not recoloring, it's tracing and coloring.
Tracing and coloring and recoloring are the same thing from the comparison you just made. They don't require you to draw anything from your imagination, just for you to switch the colors around to make it look like the character got a redesign in the color wheel. Here's someone recoloring. Now here's someone tracing. Is there really a difference? No. Because it's the same as stealing something and claiming it as your own.
But the real question is, what's so wrong with drawing freehand? I could care less if someone drew a Sonic FC and it looked crappy. At least they put in the effort not to rip off some sprite or a Sonic X screenshot. And when it comes to references, I'm okay with that because you're studying on the object you intend to draw and not blatantly copying it. And on a bit of a tangent, to anyone who says that they can't draw, anyone can draw. It takes time and effort. For some it comes more naturally than others, but even the best artists had to start somewhere. Surratt wasn't born with the ability to make a sunny afternoon on the island of the Grand Jatte.
Yeah, but think about the people who have no patience. That's the thing. They try to draw, so recoloring is a form of, just recoloring.
Recoloring is a form of just recoloring. Yeah, that makes sense. And if people are so impatient at getting better at drawing in the first place, then they shouldn't be drawing. Recoloring is not a form of teaching yourself how to draw. Tracing, to a certain degree, is. But recoloring is just taking something that may be from a screenshot or someone else's artwork and coloring over it. And don't try to say it isn't stealing, because it is.
Well, what's wrong with recoloring tool? They can draw a little bit better. I mean, take for example, someone draws this, for a matter of fact. Obviously, you see, and they can probably see, that they have really no talent for drawing yet. So, they decide to wait a few years, continuing with the recolors, and then, a few years later, after, tracing and recoloring and getting the basic gist of how you create art, they do this. Take, for example, my fan character I made. The fan character is really good, but obviously, it took time to draw. And how did I learn it? By recoloring. See, recoloring is not just copying.
So by a certain amount of time to practice recoloring, you drew something that looked exactly like this. I can feel my brain cells dying right now.
I applaud artists who will at least make the effort to draw something than those who don't try or give up because it's too hard. To quote Dr. Kelso from Scrubs, nothing worth having comes easy. And do you know what's easy? Tracing.
And yes, that's why nothing's easy. So that's why people use recoloring to help them. You know what? Mr. Sir Raven, I have nothing against you personally, but follow these rules of the internet. If you act like an idiot, then you will be treated like an idiot. Simple like that.
Ironic that he says that.
I figured I'd start a little tame and say that Dead Space 1, in my opinion, is the only great one. Well, at least if you look at it as a sci-fi action horror game, pure and simple. It can get a little repetitive to a point where every necromorph that appears is as scary as your sister shouting boo as loud as she can. but the setting of a singular space station like in Alien 1, the gritty and dimly lit corridors, the occultist and intriguing plot that starts as something as innocent as maintenance work before going haywire, the limited approach to weapon and suit customizing, the claustrophobic, fluid-seeped atmosphere, it's at its peak with the first game if you asked me, not to mention it was more of a shock at the time.
Okay, fine. You like Dead Space 1 as opposed to the later games, but I'd hardly find that an unpopular opinion. Now see, you mentioned later on how you don't like Isaac's voice, or Isaac's character for that matter, in the second game, and comparing that to the opposing opinion that people actually like Isaac in Dead Space 2, that could be considered more of an unpopular opinion than the actual opinion you've presented. It's cherry picking, I know, but meh.
Are you fucking kidding me, you turd-juggling dingleberry?
Now for my 9th most unpopular gaming opinion, I think Heavy Rain is awesome. Do I like David Cage and his approach to game creating? No. Does this game get me all emotional? No. And do I think this is some of the best acting in a game?
Jason! Quick, I need to go downstairs now, or I'm gonna lose him in the crowd.
But do I think it's one of the most ambitious games on the PS3 that mostly delivers on what it wanted to do? Yes. And do any flaws or understandable criticisms or sin about the game stop me from enjoying it? Absolutely not. I think it's a blast. Firstly, I love how it went around its design as a context-sensitive QuickTime 3D point-and-click adventure game. I know that's a point of contempt for many, but if you're gonna do QuickTime, then doing it like this makes sense and works if you ask me, like in Until Dawn, for instance. I thought every character was memorable, even though not brilliantly acted all the time. I thought the plot was dark and intriguing, and man, every single one of those endings, I wanted to see them all. And it's a game that really makes me feel as though I'm making an impact on the story and relationships with how my choices are made and what I neglected to do. With the approach of it being a QuickTime ridden game, it also meant that every second had something to pay attention to, whether it be for the reaction timing or puzzle solving, and some of the characters living or dying depending on how much you're concentrating on these events along with the story is something that could really stress me out in a good way. Oh, and I do think that the finger cutting part of the game is some of the tensest and nastiest things I've ever seen. This was actually great acting here, and the finger crunches, it's just lovely.
What are you talking about? I rarely ever see criticism of this game. Just David Cage himself. If for a game you say doesn't make you emotional, talking about how you care about the characters' lives and how the finger cutting scene made you tense sure does sound like emotion to me.
And you brought up Until Dawn as an example, one of the most successful adventure games in this format in recent years. Here's a question. How is that fair? You compare a game from 2010 to a game that came out in 2015. A game from 2015 that looked at all the problems that were made by past games and learned from those mistakes to make a game that had solved the issues before with better acting, smoother gameplay, and so on. You see what I'm getting at here?
Number 8, I don't like Street Fighter. Any of them. I like the characters, absolutely, and the visual style, and I love the way that every action is so damn precise with your button presses. But, as pathetic as this sounds, I just don't like the fighting here. I don't think I ever will. It's just not my thing. I just don't enjoy these games as much as Tekken, in which every move needed to be planned, every opponent's animation frames needed memorizing, every combo and button to limb move needs figuring out, which isn't that hard to do actually because each button is a limb. It's just a case about remembering all of it and using it all at the right time. It all makes sense. And then you all dance around each other on the stage, block and counter for complicated yet satisfying and heavy fighting. And Tekken 1 and 2 may be a bit too slow for most people, but the newer installments bring the snappiness and subtle button strings with frame-perfect rest in between the combos for a great balance. Street Fighter though, personally to me, whenever I play it, just ends up as a jumpy flippy button masher with special attacks that make not much sense to me personally, combos that don't make much sense to me, and I've managed to beat people at this game that I know love the games, and know how to play them inside out, and I've been able to beat them by just smashing random shit. It's great for an introduction to fighting games, I guess, but overall in my opinion, it's just not the best out there for how possible that is sometimes, in my experience at least. But hey, if Street Fighter X Tekken ever gets a sequel with Tekken controls, I will be all over that shit.
Oh my god. An unpopular opinion. Finally! Woo! Now here's the problem with that. I don't personally like Street Fighter either. I'm more of a Soul Calibur kind of girl, but really, button mashing? That kind of problem can be applied to any fighting game though, including your precious Tekken.
Tekken is more against button mashing than Street Fighter, yeah, but you only show one of the older Street Fighter games as an example when the later games have less leniency against people who button mash. You're comparing the old games to new ones, man.
And really, button mashing in a casual environment isn't that big of an issue since the most you're trying to get out of it is a fun time. But competitively? If you were playing against a pro at one of these games and not an amateur, then you'd be crying after the first match and have less of a ground to stand on in this argument. So either your friends are holding back because you're a newbie, or your friends who played this old Street Fighter need to get good.
As for number 7, this will be fun. I don't understand the hype for Ocarina of Time.
Now hold your horses, everyone!
Do I think that this game is bad? No, not at all. For the time especially, it was epic and atmospheric. But after playing it for the first time ever about 3 years ago, I thought it was very good, but I'm sorry, I just don't see what the huge deal about it. Oh god, I burped. Like I said, it's good, but really? Firstly, everyone told me that the intro with leaving the forest for Hyrule Field was very symbolic and emotional, and it would get me into the story immediately, but sorry, I don't know who you are, and I don't honestly care. You were introduced to me about 10 minutes ago, and all of the residents here were just so fucking needy that I didn't care about any of the world I was saving, along with the other few things that I wasn't too keen on. Everything I felt personally was explained perfectly by Ego Router in his Sequelitis video a few years ago, and even some call me Johnny with how he doesn't quite understand the legend either, so I won't repeat too much of what they're saying, but for an idea of what I'm saying, I never felt that exploring the overworld was that exciting or magical, since so many areas were so big for literally zero reason other than to waste your time and restrict you from properly looking around for some arbitrary reasons. And even though I actually like every dungeon and temple, where everything puzzle-wise and exploration-wise in Zelda works its way really well into 3D, well, except that fucking water temple, my god. The way that there isn't that much danger going on and the much slower pace of everything made the unfair camera deaths way more frustrating, and if combat was just a little bit more engaging and risky instead of you just waiting for openings with your shield up every couple of seconds, which even 2D Zeldas managed to do well, the 3D observant puzzles around the environment would have spliced a lot better to make you more aware of your surroundings and take everything all in. I've now done the Great Deku Tree dungeon about 5 times since I started playing this game, and even now I still can't remember how the thing is designed. The music kicks ass, and the creepy weird things to discover also kick ass. I mean, like I said, I did enjoy it. It's a good game in itself and hugely ambitious for the N64 especially. I just don't quite understand why this is the absolute high point of the series or the best video game ever made when it has dated by quite a while in my opinion. The bosses were alright if a little bit obvious to be, and Ganon was great when you aren't playing tennis with him at least. Yeah, that Ganon was great. Characters in Majora's Mask were also a load better as well. Basically, I'm just going to stop talking because I know people love this game and will crucify me, so I'm going bye-bye, see you later.
Haven't most people accept the fact that Ocarina of Time isn't the greatest Zelda game in the series, and the games like Majora's Mask hold that title better? Also, Egoraptor's video being good? Let me start by saying, ha! I'm not even the biggest Zelda fan, and I can tell his video on Ocarina of Time was poor. So much of that video is just based on him not wanting to read text, or his love boner for A Link to the Past being way too strong. Even your fans say so in the comment section.
And really, the only people who say things like, "This game is the best game in the entire franchise, no exceptions," are nostalgia-stricken fans. That's not a bad thing, but neither is the fact that you didn't grow up with this game. You don't need to put up a pillow fort and hide behind the barracks for an attack that isn't going to happen. At ease, soldier.
Number 6, iOS and Android casual gaming is pretty fucking fun. Bitch. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but who else is always playing something on their phone while taking a shit? I do, which is why I never sit up for hours sometimes and everything starts to ache. Yeah, sorry, get that image out of your head. Casual gaming and the countless advertising for free-to-play, shallow, manipulative, and unoriginal horse shit has had its bad stigma, and for good reason. I don't play Candy Crush, Clash of Clans, and I definitely don't play Blossom Blast Bastards, as you saw in my video I made about it. But I have played games on my iPhone 6 and Android phones in the past, and all actually ranging from very good to completely fantastic.
Holy shit, is this 2012? Scarlet, did you put me in the time machine when I wasn't looking? Actually, that'd mean Caddy has his old hair back. You know what, I'm fine being here.
Caddy, this kind of thing is a hell of a lot more accepted nowadays due to the change in the gaming community. Hardcore gamers do see some of the games that you can get for cheap prices or free for this platform, and are moving on to complain about pettier things, like games becoming more casual. But really, maybe this lack of understanding is due to a lack of understanding your audience. A good majority of your audience aren't all that hardcore, but are more casual players. They're more easygoing about changes like this and are more accepting of this opinion, along with the others you bring up in this video. If you're seeing people who express the opinion that games on the iOS are nothing but shit and always will be, you're hearing a very vocal minority. And you should know that minorities don't speak for the majority.
Okay, okie dokie, on to number 5, and this time it's about a character that I literally just mentioned a second ago who appears in Sonic CD and Sonic Dash. Yes, everyone, it's now time to talk about...
Hey, Sonic Jim, I hear you like Sonic the Hedgehog.
What? How did you get in here? What are you doing? Leave me alone!
Oh, well, I'm sorry. I just wanted to come and tell you that I heard you like Sonic the Hedgehog.
You didn't hear shit! Nothing!
Well, that's just not very nice, is it?
Wanna know why?
Why?
Because I don't like him!
Oh.
Yeah, how could you not know that? When have I ever said that I like him?
Well, I thought that you did.
No.
Ah.
Never, he's a prick.
Well, I always thought that you liked him because, I am you.
Well, I didn't see that coming.
Nah.
Well, you can't be me because I don't like him.
Well, I am. Rolling around at the speed of sound, got places to go, gotta follow.
Fuck off me. Yeah, I said it. Number 5 is that I do not like Sonic the Hedgehog.
So does everyone else!
I actually...
Oh god, no, please, just spare me. I'm perfectly fine with my Cabot, thank you!
This kinda looks like a ripoff of Sonic to me.
Don't you dare compare him to that blue bastard retard. He has a precious little cinnamon roll and way more compelling of a character than that 90s hipster facula will ever be.
But in all seriousness, when even Sega themselves don't like their mascot and actively put him on the back burner for other future games to publish, then I think it's pretty clear that not many people will disagree with you when you say that Sonic sucks.
We're gonna be skipping his number 4 since really we can't disagree with him on the PS Vita being better than 3DS. I mean, he also mentioned the whole thing with the GameCube being better than PS2, and while I really don't get why it had to be in there along with the PS Vita 3DS bit, it's not really got anything wrong with it, and he's even sold Scarlet on getting a Vita.
Thanks, Caddy! Now I'll never look at a 3DS the same way ever again! Oh, and we're also going to be skipping his number 3 too, since, well, I've played all the Bioshock games, and really, I'd hardly say he's wrong on that one, so... yeah...
Are you fucking kidding me, you turd-juggling dingleberry?
Okay, number 2. Come on, people. E.T. for the Atari 2600 isn't that bad. Sure, it was a little confusing. Sure, it helped cause the video game crash of 1983. Sure, millions of copies were returned and never sold. But come on, people. With games like Superman, Starship, Karate, Custer's Revenge, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre on the exact same revolutionary system, I'm surprised E.T. gets as much hate as it does. It isn't the ugliest Atari game, not the worst controlling Atari game, and probably one of the deeper games in terms of gameplay for the system at the time, with people to avoid, lots of areas to explore, and considering how this was practically made in about 6 weeks in a rush just before Christmas by Howard Scott Warshaw in the days when it would take a team about 6 months to make a game that looks like this, I think that this turned out actually pretty damn decently for everything considered and showed off how talented Howard was for being so damn quick about it on his own entirely. I don't get the lack of respect here, with him even saying that he had people making sure that he had eaten every day because of how much he was working on the game every single day from start to end. Ultimately, yes, it's not a good game and it's not a good business practice, and it threw video games down the toilet in 1983, but the game itself? No way. There are way worse games on the console with higher budgets and bigger teams. So for one guy in 5 or 6 weeks to make this game in 1982, I can't even believe it turned out like this. I think this is amazing. So yeah, everything considered, I think people should give E.T. a fucking break. Who exactly expected a masterpiece game in the 1980s about E.T. anyway? Why was there hype for this in the first place? It's fucking E.T. Maybe you should have been left in a New Mexico landfill, you idiot.
This one, well, we can't say that he's wrong in this opinion, since really, the most we'd be doing is just disagreeing, which is the point of this list. To present opinions that were unpopular and that you could disagree with. We literally cannot say that he's wrong here.
So, the question now is, why isn't this your number 1? Because, Caddy, your number 1 is...
Oh man. I don't even want to say number 1 from fear of people ransacking my house, but I guess you made it this far, you're all waiting for it, so... My ultimate, number 1, unpopular gaming opinion is that I prefer playing consoles over PC.
Oh god, no, we're in 2012 again.
Get me out of here!
Is this really even an argument anymore? Really, it's nothing but a preference, and preferences don't really make unpopular opinions. Hell, you even mentioned that it's a preference, but you brand it as an unpopular opinion, so... I'm sorry, what?
The PC master race might as well be dead at this point. There are people who prefer PC, and there are people like you and I who prefer console. But at the end of the day, who cares? You go on to express how much you love getting up from the computer because it means you're done with working and feel more relaxed playing on a console. And that's fine. I'm with you, mate. That's the best feeling in the world. But why are you making such a big deal out of a preference? Dude, it's fine.
No one is gonna lynch you for having a preference. Some people like it sweet, some people like it spicy. That's just how people are.
Crybaby Akira Fudo's life is thrown for a loop when his childhood friend and Mugatu lookalike Ryo re-enters his life and gets possessed by a demon. But he's not like those other devils. He's Devilman.
You're a man who possesses both the body of a devil as well as the heart of a human. Devilman.
Groundbreaking. Devilman Crybaby feels like a throwback to 80s anime by upping the violence to an insanely graphic level and really playing the anything goes, it's Netflix card by rolling straight past fan service into softcore porn territory.
Haha, the joke's on you! It's based on an 80s anime! Also, Devilman was already a violent show, it was just, revamped for a modern audience.
That's not even counting the fucked up shit that happens in the manga, too. Netflix allowing this show on their platform has nothing to do with the content being over the top or messed up. It's all a matter of whether Netflix is interested in having something like this on their network and if it will make them money, which it did. Same thing can be said for shows like Castlevania.
Don't forget Ajin! If you want to get stronger, just go out in the woods and hang yourself a few dozen times!
Meh, sounds like a typical Saturday night.
Wait, what?
What?
Now, I'm not an 11-year-old boy, so seeing boobs really isn't that exciting for me. And I felt the service was way over the top, frankly, distracting from what was more interesting. The demon hunting. Stop doing these weird upskirt shots and get back to hunting demons, bro! Because that is crazy messed up.
I'm a really big fan of your choice of clips, like the shot of Akira looking through Miki's clothes where he's actively fighting an urge to rape her. It's not like he expresses having a problem with how sexual he's becoming, and Ryo tells him it's his demon impulses that he can't really control. Nope. Fan service. Yeah, that's right.
Did the show's sexual themes make you uncomfortable? Good. That was the point. Why do you think the scene with Miko touching herself was set with a donkey sound?
No, we can't show clips of that, because the female sexuality is a fucking sin, apparently.
And Akira having the urge to rape his best friend isn't a sin, but fan service.
Yeah, neither is fuck murdering Cyrene, either.
I'm less weirded out by it and more concerned with how it feels to be fucked in midair. With rotation.
The chafing. Ugh.
Number 5, Murder in the Club. Ryo already seems like a really sketch friend.
We have to go, now.
Who is that guy anyway?
Ryo Asuka. He's the same age as me, but he's a professor at a college in the States. Let's go.
You know, how you work in casual exposition about your weird friend with a gun. Dude wanted to murder a cat when they were kids, so really it shouldn't be a surprise that in the name of discovery or whatever, Ryo decided to speed up his devil hunting by straight up murdering people in the club. Apparently devils are like sharks and need to smell blood in the water. He breaks a bottle and starts stabbing innocent bystanders at this orgy. Okay, I mean, innocent is a loaded word. Even weirder, his best friend, Crybaby, and high schooler Akira is like, no, dude, stop, not cool. By the end, we of course know why he's such a creepy-ass weirdo. Still, Power of Satan seems pretty iffy on this one. I need to be a lot more on board with my friend's crazy-ass plans. I need to be convinced to go to brunch. Murder at sex parties is gonna take a lot more.
Gee, it's almost like you're supposed to be iffy on him. For all we know, he could literally be Hitler. Or Satan.
Okay, he doesn't murder people to speed up the process either. He says that the Sabbath party isn't debauched enough to summon a demon, let alone summon Amon. He starts stabbing people because demons won't appear if there's no blood. Period. Pun. Fuck you.
And the fact that he wanted to kill the cat when he and Akira were younger is part of his character that does not take any value in human life or life in general, giving us the idea that maybe not everything is right with Ryo, and to even not trust him at his word.
Even barring all of that, Ryo stabbing people is the most messed up thing in that scene. Not the people's bodies warping into horrible monsters, not the woman's vagina literally consuming someone, not Akira ripping the alligator demon in fucking half like a hot dog bun, no! Fucking...
And please give Akira a bit more credit. He may have been a scrawny crybaby, but he actively did try to hold Ryo back from killing people in the club, as you showed in that clip when you said this.
Even weirder, his best friend, Crybaby, and high schooler Akira is like, no, dude, stop, not cool.
Finally, I caught that subtle little jab. Well, not innocent. Yeah, they were. Those people just came to take E and... come, I guess. They were not starting shit until Ryo fucking stabbed people!
Skipping number 4, since, to be fair, yeah, it is pretty fucked up to have your dad possessed by a demon and murder your mom, and then have it get progressively worse, and worse, and worse. So many tears.
Number 3, the single white female storyline. There was a very weird secondary single white female kind of storyline in the show between Miki and Miko, who is also Miki. Miko is super jealous of Miki and hates that she's not as fast, cute, whatever. She wants to be the one and only Miki. So much so that she's willing to debase herself with a creepy photographer, take body-altering drugs, and loves being a devil because it makes her better than Miki. There's a special place in hell for women who don't help other women. And are demons, obviously.
So what's disturbing about that?
Because they're not kissing by the end, that's what.
I mean, yeah, but like, not that kind of disturbing. I like how she calls this subplot disturbing, but leaves out the only actual disturbing clip related to the subplot. You know, where Miko blows her own fucking brains out to save Miki, where she's in tears pleading the mob to spare her, and they're just chanting for her to just fucking kill herself already.
Special place in hell for women who don't help other women. Uh-huh. Except for when they do. P.S. The clip that you showed of Miko at the club taking the quote-unquote body-altering drugs, that's not a body-altering drug, nor does it imply being how she got her Devilman powers. She was on a date, some motherfucker was possessed by a demon and killed everyone but her, turning her into a Devilman. That's how this shit works. How do you miss that in the first episode when Akira was turned into a Devilman?
We're also skipping number 2 because number 2 is the entirety of episode 9. And for those of you who have seen Devilman Crybaby, you know that this should be number 1. But you know, it's not.
Finally, number 1, the everything about Cyrene. Ugh, it's just so gross. I don't use the F word too often, but this show is foul. You know, that's actually kind of funny because Cyrene has those chicken legs. If you watch it, you'll get it. And if you are going to watch it, don't watch it with your door open to your porch. My neighbors already thought I was weird enough from the conversations I have with my dog, now this. I'm not getting invited to any block parties this year.
Cyrene? Really? Oh yeah, you know, ritualistically murdering the only good-hearted characters in the show. Some of them being murdered by their own fucking friends. Let's not forget, is so much more appropriate than 2 scenes of female masturbation.
It's a gross sex, and sex is bad.
And the way she fucking dies isn't even disturbing. It's one of the most weirdly heartwarming scenes in the show, actually. What are you, some kind of chicken?
Plus, it was kind of a given from the very beginning that she wanted Amon's dick, so it's hardly anything that is shocking or provocative. She's just a demon lady who wanted a demon dude's dick. Can't a girl fantasize in peace here?
No, wanting a cock is disturbing. I think that's the problem I have with the whole fucking list. The word disturbing. If this was a list of things she was surprised Netflix got away with, or that were provocative, or even things that shocked her, sure, maybe I could see it. No, these were the most disturbing things in the anime. Fucking, this is why God nuked the world at the end, because people can't handle titties in their art.
Honestly, this entire list was just a shallow cash-in for the sake of jumping on the Devilman Crybaby hype train, and it didn't even bring anything new to the table. I could get more substance out of watching Mother's Basement talk about the opening segment for the show, and get more insight for the themes than by watching a top 5 disturbing list when there's so many things for this list to pick out of the show. The way people died, the tear-jerking moments, of which you picked 2. This was just disappointing and a wasted opportunity. I can understand if the show isn't your cup of tea, it's not really something for everyone, but actively ignoring all the messages that the show was trying to convey in its themes is a disservice to the people who worked hard on its creation and the original source that had influenced the anime of today.
Okay, so this is a rant about people and them thinking that Disney movies are deep. There is no such thing as a deep Disney movie, especially among the animated ones.
Okay, in response to your text, let me ask you this. How would a child under the age of 6 be able to think that a Disney movie was deep? Let's say that I had a kid watch the movie Cinderella, and they were about 3 years old. Would the kid enjoy it? Most likely, yes, because of the colorful and lively animation, the catchy songs, and the kid-friendly dialogue and jokes. As an adult, though, I'm able to see things that the child otherwise cannot, like how Cinderella was abused into slavery for Lady Tremaine and the 2 stepsisters. As an adult, you'll come to know the original tone of the story, and if you look at the Disney version of the story again, you'll be able to see things you were unable to see when you were under the age of 6.
The only one that ever came close or any of the two that ever came close was Big Hero 6 and Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo because Nemo's mother died. That, and so did the rest of his siblings. That was kind of deep, I guess. But
so because Nemo's mother died along with his siblings, that makes the entire movie of Finding Nemo deep. Well, if that's the case, then so is The Lion King, The Princess and the Frog, and every other Disney movie in existence that has a character die is so edgy and deep XD! Just because a character dies in a Disney film does not make the film automatically deep. It can bring a lot of emotion to a scene, yes, but it does not make the entire movie deep.
But the rest of the movie ruined it. Plus, you have to remember, they're talking fish. That destroys the whole thing. It's just a silly kids movie that they're trying to pass off as this serious, dramatic, genius movie.
So talking animals ruin the death of a story in a Disney film? Well, if that's the case, then anything that cannot possibly exist, like fairy godmothers, talking cars, and singing voodoo spirits from the other side, ruin any chance of a Disney movie having depth. You, sirs, seem to focus on what's on the surface than what is lying underneath the kiddie atmosphere. There's a story about a father trying to find his son and facing the entire world just to find him in Finding Nemo. If it's not deep, it's at the very least compassionate. The love for Marlin's son is so great that he's willing to risk his very life to save his son. That's what makes Finding Nemo good, or even to some people, deep.
Big Hero 6 was kind of deep because his brother died, but we've seen that in a lot of other Disney movies.
And that ruins your entire argument of Finding Nemo being deep because his mother and siblings dying. Do you even listen to yourself when you edit these things and think over what you said? Good for you for knowing how to edit a video, but at least take the time to hear yourself talk and think about what you're saying.
So, among the animated Disney movies, they just can't get... They're just not deep at all. There's nothing, besides the comedy and the animation, there's just no reason in watching them. There's no reason in being a huge fan of Disney. There's no point in even being a fan of Disney if you're over the age of 10.
So there's no point in me being a fan of Disney for its animation, storytelling, history, or even the biography of the man itself? You see, Kirito, you are the reason why I can't have nice things!
So, leave a comment, like, favorite, and subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments. And if I get any people complaining about my point of view, you're just proving my point. You're immature. It's Disney. It's for kids.
So anyone who disagrees with you are immature. The hypocrisy is strong with this. Ah! It burns! Get away from me! What is that? Some kind of alien reject from Mars attacks?
It makes you feel like you've left your brains on the table when you do this makeup. And it's not a great look for any woman who wants to have a little bit of self-respect, I don't think.
For those of you who are unaware, let me explain to you what style it is that Darcy here is trying to pull off. This is her idea of what she thinks a Lolita fashion is supposed to look like in terms of makeup. Now, for those of you who don't know, Lolita fashion is a trend that started in the 1970s and 80s in Japan as an homage to Victorian and Rococo dresswear, which has grown so much popularity, it'd be no surprise if you'd seen a character dressed in such a way in an anime or two like Celeste. The idea is to create somewhat of a doll-like appearance that is cute and or elegant. The makeup is what goes into the fashion, and this attempt here, well, okay, she just basically used a tutorial from a user by the name of Venus Angelic, of which I've been made aware is not a reliable nor a relatable source to the Lolita fashion. If anything, she's just basically a chick who puts on makeup to make her seem like a living Barbie doll, which is creepy. Darcy has made an article, which I will link in the description, along with the websites on where I obtained the information used in this video to debunk her claims on Lolita, where she basically says that the fashion is nothing more than a fetishistic trend that does not empower women. Yeah. She's one of those people.
I couldn't do this if you paid me. I've never felt so strained in all my life, and that is saying something. Hello and welcome to my video, which is not really a tutorial about how to get the dolly face look. It was part of my article that I'm writing on how it feels to be a Lolita when you're old. I'm 45 and I thought I'd try do this. This is what they do. Look, they do the angles like this, look. Because when they've got their normal faces, it doesn't look so good. It looks a bit weird. Look.
Okay, I don't know what pictures you have looked up, but
When I searched Lolita fashion on Google, I did not get a bunch of girls doing the duck face while dressed in Lolita. Where did you get your information, lady? You're a journalist, aren't you? I thought journalists were supposed to have the facts and nothing but the facts when presenting an article, not speculation and stereotypes.
So if you want to be a dolly doll face, that's fine, but be a dolly doll face when you've gone to university or when you've got yourself a good education so you can be a CEO of a multinational company and have some credibility. Otherwise, what's the point of just being a dolly doll face? There's much more exciting and important things to aspire to be, young women. And these dolly doll faces, this isn't it. It's not it.
Being a Lolita is a hobby, and a hobby isn't what defines the person. Holy shit, I'm not even a Lolita, and I can see that there are women that are successful and respectable as you want them to be. They just happen to like the fashion. Though it's no surprise that you'd refuse to see that, seeing how you filter your comments in both your article and your YouTube video. The ones who debated against you saying that they were Lolita and respectable women, you deliberately filtered out just so that you could make yourself look good. Don't believe me? 42 Believers response managed to include the original comments that were left on your article before you filtered them out. Link is also in the description.
Oh, I got no brain at all. Oh, I'm a doll. Oh, I look cute. Oh my word.
Oh yeah, and you called the Lolita community immature. Wow, the hypocrisy is sticking up the whole room in here. I might need a fucking airspray on me to get this shit out.
Also, another side thing about being a dolly doll face, when you've got this much makeup on, it makes you look like a bit of a drag queen, and I think that's even better. I think if I was going to have a role model, I'd prefer to have a drag queen as a role model, rather than some kind of prepubescent dolly doll face big-eyed girl.
You know what I think is the reason why it feels like that? It's because that type of Lolita that you're pulling off could be considered Ita. And to elaborate what I mean, Ita is the type of Lolita that is generally looked down upon in the community because it is painful to look at. That's why it comes from the Japanese word itai, meaning ouch.
It feels so weird. Why do they do it? Why do they go out of the house like this?
Oh, funny. Now, if only there was some kind of journalist to get into the matter and actually find out why these girls dress in the way that they do in the Lolita community.
So let's hope this Lolita fashion dies out quite soon for those young girls and they have some very positive role models, like anyone else but a dolly doll face.
While it isn't a surprise on how the Lolita fashion is misunderstood, your article, as well as your video, asking the questions to thin air rather than to the people you're interested in, does not help enlighten people to the fashion or the community. No, Lolita is not for everyone, but it's not something that you can judge in the way that you've done so here and in your blog. This is a style that has been around since the 70s and 80s and continues to grow in style and popularity to this day. So no, there is no Lolita dying down anytime soon. The next time you want to cover a topic that is out of the ordinary to someone from the outside looking in, 3 words: do your research! Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go cry myself to sleep for not being able to afford the pretty dresses that I'm seeing on the sites that do the actual research that you neglect to do. So cute, but so expensive!
Okay, hello. Hello, I'm Richie, and this is the return of the Augusto Productions commentary. Sorry, you know what? Sorry I wasn't here. Because I was searching for a job. And listen, I'm not making videos every day because I have a personal life and a lot of things in my life.
Not even 30 seconds in and I'm already having problems with this presentation. You could see why stretching the name to Productions is a bit too generous. This lighting, the angle that cuts off the top part of his head, the background noise, if this was part of a big name production studio, then I'd question how much time and effort was put into it. Which in this case, I don't have to, since it's clear that all that was done for this was just one fucking take. With no thought to edit anything out or go off a script or notes, since a little after this, you repeat maybe about 4 or 5 times on how you plan on uploading videos for once a month. And girl, don't even get me started on the fact that this isn't even a commentary. It's a response video. You aren't talking over a video or interjecting between points to counter-argue the subject being discussed. We'll get to that nitty-gritty detail later, but good lord almighty, man. This is the basics of the basics. How do you screw up this fucking badly?
Okay, so moving on. Today, this is the return commentary, and the commentary we're doing is at the title, Ponder Sprocket, as in Ponder Sprocket, girly voice.
Hold on a sec here. Am I missing something? Girly, wait. Hold on. Hey, Ponder! Yeah, can you get over here for a minute? Yeah, this is a bit weird for me to ask, but, could you take your pants down? It's for science, I swear.
And basically, we're doing a commentary on Ponder Sprocket and his video on Angry John. And I got to say something about this video. So here it is. Good job is good, but not that great.
Jeez, this video reeks of padding.
It's okay, it's a good
Wait,
job.
why am I upside down?
But basically, you call my friend a sexist pig. I know you're trying to be funny, but Angry John is not a sexist pig. He was trying to do an anxiety test.
Okay, where are you getting this whole thing of Ponder calling Angry John a sexist pig? Senor, you need to stop shoving your straw down people's throats. It's not nice. I mean, I looked through Ponder's video and nowhere does she call Angry John a sexist pig. It would be nice to know where you came to that conclusion, but as expected from someone of your caliber, you show nothing to back up your claims.
And it was a scam. And he understands women's feelings good. As in understands women's feelings. But do not call him a sexist. Alright? It's the scam that is sexist. Not him. And basically, your video's not that great, just adequate at best. It's not at his level or anyone else. Even my videos were better than yours, but I'm getting ahead of myself.
Okay, let's just tackle this one step at a time.
He understands women's feelings, and it was a scam that was sexist, not Angry John.
Well, too bad I can't believe you on that point of him understanding women's feelings, since you show no proof of that being the case. But as for the scam being the one that is sexist, sorry Tumblr, you're wrong. The test itself was to gauge anxiety levels based on the common questions given, and believe it or not, women do have different thought processes than men. It's not sexist to say that a woman has boobs and a vagina and a man has a penis because those are facts. And to say that women think differently than men is in the same ballpark. And while the test does pertain to a majority of women and men who have those brain patterns that lead to their anxiety, that doesn't mean that it's sexist. I mean, asking a man how he feels when he's going through his menstrual cycle is just retarded. Their bodies weren't built that way. So really, you could argue that the way that not only John, but also yourself perceive this test, and how you believe that these questions should apply to both genders based on your backwards idea that men and women are the same biologically, could be considered sexist. Secondly,
your videos aren't the greatest. Even my videos are better than yours.
Let me rebut that by starting with a big fat With the way you put up your rinky-dink set, you wish you were at Ponder's level. But really, that's your opinion that you think her videos aren't of better quality, and when comparing her work to the editing styles of Ryan or Caden, you're right. But that doesn't deter her from being entertaining to watch. Her videos, while they don't have much in the way of editing prowess, still make up for the critique and jokes that she packs into her commentaries. Again, I say, ha!
And when I watch a video, you have a girly voice for a boy.
Hey, fuckwit. Maybe it's because Ponder isn't a boy at all. But then again, she did admit that her penis was so small that it was a clitoris, so... My background is gone, isn't it? Fucking hell, god damn it!
But while I was watching the video, sorry about the butts, but I have autism. So, let's continue on. I have autism.
And I have Asperger's, but you don't hear me making excuses for lack of retakes. I find it funny how you want to play the tough guy act, but when you catch yourself stuttering, you end up ducking for cover saying, please don't make fun of me, I have autism! You seriously think that shit, along with the I'm also searching for a job thing, is gonna fly with anyone? Bruh, you have not been on the internet long enough, clearly. Skipping ahead here, since most of it is him comparing Ponder to Ben the Looney and fucking Guptail89 for having a small penis and girly voice and big ego, and reaffirming that he has autism for 3 or 4 more times, you know, just in case you didn't hear him the first time. And then he goes on to shit on Guptail for his top 10 females list, which hasn't been relevant since fucking forever. So just bringing it up is more pointless shit for the sake of hating.
Oh, onto you, Ponder Sprocket. Alright, if you want to call someone sexist, call the scam sexist, not my friend Angry John. And you need to realize something about that. And you need, when you do a video, you need to watch the owner's video before you make another fucking commentary about them. Call all the fucking back sexist. And you don't know what you mean it.
Yeah, cause oh, for the love of, cause it's not like she actually did look over the video and found legitimate flaws with it. I mean, I'll give you brownie points for saying something that is valid critique. Commentators should look over a video before doing anything with it. Now how about you follow your own advice?
Okay, hello, it's me again, Quentin. Yep. Okay, I got another video for you. Okay, it's about... Okay, this video is gonna be about how a series could be underrated. No. What is it? Or did I discuss this before? Okay, first, is Shonen Jump manga generic or... No, let me just get into it.
Into what? You didn't even specify as to what the subject of the rant is. By my guess, it would be the overrated manga debate. It's almost hard to tell when you talk about both the manga and anime from the shonen genre.
Okay, I did watch a video from, what's his name? Upa Akari, but I gotta disagree and kinda agree, so let me get into it, the shonen manga. Okay, One Piece. First, I'll start off with One Piece again. Of course, starting off with One Piece. Oda is a fucking genius. He knows how to do characterization very well. His world building is amazing. And for you to say that One Piece is just a story about a dude that's just going from one island to the next, like, dude, are you reading the same manga, the same anime? Like, are you serious? One Piece has a very good development. Luffy even got development even after Ace. No. After his crew disappeared and they all went to different islands. Do you even see that?
Hey guys, I think I found Hero Tomorrow's butt buddy! Tell me, Mr. True Otaku, how long does it take for One Piece to develop its characters? Or even move the plot along, for that matter?
Hey, you read all these volumes, Come on, okay, let's keep going. Oh, after Ace's death, did you see that? He got developed. What the fuck? One Piece is like freaking epic. Like, the characterization, everyone gets developed. Again, Dragon Ball. Oh, Tien doesn't do shit. Fucking Yamcha gets killed by a Cyberman. Everyone, you don't feel a tear in Dragon Ball. Everyone dies. They come back to life. It's the same old bullshit. I mean, again, I love Dragon Ball. I do want to see Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods. I really do. It looks awesome. But I have to be honest, and I have to fucking be honest. Okay, One Piece, in my opinion, is better. If you want to get into it, read the manga. Don't watch the anime, because it'll take you probably months or years or whatever, like reading Fighting Spirit or Hajime no Ippo. So let's get into it. I mean, One Piece, characterization. Characterization. Oh, I see. Okay, Oda, he develops everyone. He develops Luffy, Sanji, Zoro, Chopper, Nami, Brook, and Frankie.
How exactly does the creator of One Piece develop his characters? No, seriously, I want to know, since I've seen no character development within the series, manga or anime.
And it's just in the Shonen Jump. This dude is very good. Now, some arcs are kind of generic and kind of repetitive, but I mean, if you like pirates, read One Piece. I mean, it's good. Now Bleach. That's a good series too, and I'm just fucking tired. I'm fucking tired of all you motherfucking bandwagon motherfuckers. I'm sorry, you're all bandwagon people. You say, oh, it's good. Oh, yeah. Oh, Aizen. Yeah, Aizen. It should have ended with Aizen. What the fuck? Oh, yeah, Dragon Ball. It should have ended with Cell. Majin Buu was bullshit. Look at that shit. He wasn't even a real villain. Frieza and Cell were better, nigga. What the fuck? I mean, oh my god. I mean, a nigga turns a fucking Saiyans into chocolate. Fusion didn't even freaking work. And it's, oh, let's leave it up to Goku. What the fuck? And you're saying this is nostalgia.
So you say you love Dragon Ball, huh? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with stating the flaws of a series that you like, but when you praise One Piece like it was a gift from God and say nothing about the flaws in that series, it doesn't really look all that good when you're ranting about an iconic series like Dragon Ball.
Okay, let me get on to Naruto, because I wanted to get on to Naruto. Okay, this is not just a Upa Ikari. I'm just saying, giving my analysis, or to say, I mean, Naruto using Talk no Jutsu. Naruto using Talk no Jutsu to Pain or Nagato. Come on, bro. Are you reading the same? Are you reading the same series, watching the same anime, or as I am? I mean, Talk. Wait. Talk no Jutsu against Nagato. He's not using Talk no Jutsu. If you're reading the same series or the manga or whatever, like I am, he's not using no Talk no Jutsu. What he's doing is, I mean, Jiraiya always told Naruto to use peaceful means, like, throughout the series. So, like, he's not using no Talk no goddamn Jutsu. Like, what the fuck? Naruto is kind of like a monk. He never even killed anybody in this series.
Oh, where to begin with this one? Well, first off, the Talk no Jutsu, if you have been paying attention, is a joke. After Naruto finished off the 6 pains, he went searching for the main guy controlling them, Nagato. After getting a little more in-depth with the psychological mind of Nagato, Naruto responded saying that he'll break the curse of this world and find peace if such exists. After Nagato sought a new vision after Naruto's response, he then sacrificed his life to restore what he destroyed. In short, Naruto drove someone to their death by just talking to them. That's what Talk no Jutsu means. Second, you have Jiraiya's message all wrong. He didn't say for Naruto to live in peace. He told Naruto to search for it. If he told Naruto to live in peace, then that would contradict Jiraiya teaching Naruto new fighting techniques. Also, he never killed anyone? Are you sure you're not watching and reading the same series?
You people are just over-analyzing shit. Zeta Gundam, I never even watched it. Maybe I'll watch it. Shit. Yu Yu Hakusho. Now that's a goddamn good anime. I will say that. That anime is a classic. Astro Boy, I mean, come on, man. I'm 19 years old. Astro Boy with that cheesy-ass dialogue. I mean, it may have started anime and manga in Asuma Tezuka, but I would say newer anime is better. I just can't just sit there and just look at some cheesy dialogue, cheesy animation, looking like something out of Twilight Zone in the 1960s. Come on, bro. I mean,
are you seriously comparing an anime like Astro Boy to newer generations of anime? Now that's just not fair! It's a series from the 1950s. Of course it's going to have cheesy animation and dialogue because that was cutting edge at the time. And above all that, Astro Boy was a children's cartoon, something that Osamu Tezuka was notable for. You can't compare a series like Astro Boy to something like Yu Yu Hakusho. Also, Astro Boy, the anime, looks like Twilight Zone?
I mean, Dragon Ball. Again, Dragon Ball. I love it. I watched all the episodes. All the episodes of the series. All the episodes of Dragon Ball Z. I'm looking forward to Battle of the Gods. And this rumor that the series is coming back with 200 over episodes, I don't want it to come back. I just want it to stay ended. And I don't mind if they have more movies. I don't mind if they have more specials. But I don't want another series, because I'll just be a drag. And
So you don't want Dragon Ball to come back with another season, but movies and specials are okay. At what point does this whole rant begin to make sense? I'm only like halfway through and you're still speaking nothing but nonsense.
So, again, Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball is not the best series in the world. Damn, this is getting riled up inside. Okay. Now, like I said, Dragon Ball, it did start the Shonen Jump manga activity. And Shonen Jump manga does have that stereotypical kind of, oh, you want to be friends, Kilia? Or, you want to be friends? And all this other bullshit? Like, it's simple. I do think the art of storytelling is better in seinen manga. I do think that. But shonen manga, it's simple. It just gets to the point. So, I don't know, I'm kind of in between. But again, that talk no jutsu, the pain, like really? Really? Like, Nagato was like the student of Jiraiya, and you say he used talk no jutsu? Like, again? Really? But what the fuck? I mean, this is just some bullshit. I mean, all these YouTube videos that I'm seeing are a bunch of bullshit so far. And I'm not just talking about Dragon Ball. Again, I gotta say that, I mean, plot points. Dragon Ball is cliche. If Krillin were to die, I wouldn't shed a tear. He's useless. He didn't do shit. It's always that reliance on Goku or like that Nappa, that Saiyan saga. It's a classic. But it just relies on Goku. Everything relies on Goku. Like, some people may bash me, but fuck it. Even Fairy Tail. I mean, we just leave it up. Oh, Natsu! Leave it up to Natsu! Leave it up to Goku!
Oh no. Did you seriously just say that Natsu is like Goku and that everyone depends on him? What? But that's a load of bull fucking horseshit! Natsu is only one of many characters in Fairy Tail, and no one really depends on him to do all the work like Goku. Hell, there was even a time when Natsu was the one in trouble, and it was up to not Urza, Lucy, or Gray, but everyone in the Fairy Tail Guild to save him. Every character in the series is dependent on one another, and it's very well balanced. Yes, there are some characters that are overpowered, but they don't get enough screen time anyway because they aren't in the series all that much due to how many characters there are. Again, I ask, are you sure you're the one that's reading the same manga or watching the same anime?
That tournament, the ending of the tournament for Fairy Tail was absolutely abominable. That was just horrible. Like Sting's character, he just went from this to a straight up pussy.
So because Sting had lost a friend at the near end of the tournament, that makes him a pussy? Hang on, let me apply this logic to another series and see if it makes sense. Oh, get over it!
Hiro Mashima. I don't know. Maybe you'll pull a Kubo. Maybe you'll make Fairy Tail good. I am still reading your series. If you're watching this, probably not. Shit. Probably fucking bitches. But I will say this for Fairy Tail. It still has potential. I still think something good will happen. And again, Shonen Jump manga. I do love Shonen Jump manga. And I mean, I'm just kind of tired of just looking on YouTube, seeing these videos, seeing Otaku Assemble, seeing Uber Akari, seeing Uber Black Man, seeing what's his name, Fat Jason, or whatever your names are. And the reviews are just stereotypical and just the big three manga, or no, not the big three manga, but you're just always over analyzing things. That just kind of gets annoying. Not saying that I'm dropping any of these series. I love them to death. I mean, shoot, I watch some live action TV shows, some fucking Supernatural, some Vikings, some fucking Hannibal shit. But I mean, I'm just saying that. I mean, is there anything else, man? I mean, or are you just fucking over analyzing shit? Again, I mean, Dragon Ball is good, but it's overrated. And Persian version speaks. Persian version speaks. That video was bullshit. Yep, I said it. That video was bullshit. The number one should have been Dragon Ball. Number two should have been One Piece. Number 3 should have been Naruto. Number 4 should have been, I'm not going to say Bleach because I love Bleach. Actually, I think Bleach is underrated. And, let me see. Fourth. I think I'll put, no, in this anime community, I would say Hunter x Hunter. Right now, even though I love it. Fifth. What's another overrated anime? Maybe I'll put Inuyasha. Yeah, I'll put Inuyasha. I mean, those are overrated animes in my opinion. Like, every time I hear...
So wait, you're just gonna end it here? Without warning? Okay.
Then again, it wasn't like there was anything really going on in that little head of yours. Seeing how you kept jumping from one series to the next, and how you remembered some things about the series wrong, and how your logic is so flawed. Saves me the trouble, really.
Hey guys, what's up? Maverick here, and in today's video, guys, I'm doing a brand new commentary on Chris Chan's response to being jailed.
Pause to let that sink in, and continue.
Now, Chris Chan was the creator of the Sonic Shoe webcomic, and oh my god, he did the most stupid thing ever.
Despite the many, many, many other things that the guy did before this happened. Yeah. So basically, Maverick's going to be commentating on a dramatic reading on the post that Chris Chan made, and he goes on to talk about his new editing software and what he plans to do with it. So to save time, you know what that means!
December 2014. Christian Weston Chandler, creator of the Love Sonic Shoe webcomic series, was arrested for pepper spraying a GameStop employee after said employee tried to stop him from, defacing the Sonic Boom display. Yeah, no, that happened. Here is his official response to the whole incident.
This should be very entertaining.
Sonic's arm.
Yeah, there was absolutely no point in saying that. I want my money back.
Everyone, to preface what has happened recently, I simply remind everyone that Sonic the Hedgehog's arms are not freaking out!
Jesus Christ, man! Why are you overreacting over this little thing that Sega did? I mean, if it was that big of a fuck-up, every Sonic fan would be raging about it, going, "Oh my god, Sega, change it back!" But instead, they're just like, meh, whatever, just an arm color. You are just like, yeah, I want my arm color back! Jesus fucking Christ.
Then clearly you're oblivious to how the Sonic fan base can be.
If Sega had never changed them or reversed the change between February and November of this year in the new Sonic Boom video games and cartoon series on Cartoon Network, as well as the toys and whatever else, I would never have had to protest and rebel the way I have, including the creation of my group, Fix Sonic's Arms Immediately, Sega! Within my groups, I have led by example to push forward to the path of waking Sega up and forcing them to change Sonic's arm color back immediately. And to confess, I have done my part for real. I had personally gone into 3 of the 4 local GameStops, excluding the Fashion Square one, 3 times to personally protest in my silent way.
Number 1. Is pepper spraying a GameStop employee silent? I mean, yes, it can be silent, but the thing is it really silent? No. Also, you're a lunatic.
Ha! Tell us something we don't know. And in no way can a pepper spray attack be silent. It's about as loud as your mom's vibrator going off in the background of your audio.
First attack I printed, as seen on the Facebook group, the fronts of the Sonic Boom game inserts, affixed double-sided tape onto the backs, and affixed them onto the fronts of their respective display game boxes on the shelves. Second attack! About a week later, I checked the success of my first attack, damaged a few original inserts pretty well to full removal, and of what were still there, I made attempts to transfer the inserts from the original cases into behind the inserts of different games. I've had to briefly explain my reasons and the protest and told them that they should not be selling the Blue-Eyed Bandit games!
I agree with you, and Blue-Armed Bandit. Like, look, I agree with the reader who was just laughing at this. But I mean, come on, seriously, Blue-Armed Bandit. And one question: why are you calling them attacks when they're really signs of how much of a lunatic you are?
You know what, just so I'm not wasting my own damn time, how about I ask why you're making a commentary on a video that you agree with, just so that you can respond to Chris's post from December of 2014? Why not just make a rant showing the post itself? There is literally no point to this commentary's existence.
Near a week later, on December 8th, I had typed, signed, and addressed and U.S. mailed apology letters, with the promise to have been done with my in-person protest deeds with no further action therein to all but the Fashion Square GameStop.
it's funny how he how it's like the person who's making him write those letters is his mother, and she's basically saying, write letters and do apologies for what you've done.
You know, you were doing somewhat okay with the unscriptedness of this video, but then that happened. You know what? I'm just gonna stop the video here, since the point of this whole commentary you've made here, Maverick, is... it's just flown right out the window into the acid lake outside. Whatever criticism you've received up to this point was clearly not enough for you to realize how bad at commentating you were. And this isn't his first commentary, people. This is number 6 of 10. And you know what all of them are? All topics and trolls! And some of them are not even commentaries, but they're rants. Rants and commentaries are not the same thing. And that's not even the best part. When he gets a video flagged, he bitches and moans about it, saying that he might leave YouTube all because of one false flagged video. Videos have been flagged before in the commentary community, and when they do get flagged, it further proves the point that the person they commentated on couldn't handle what they were saying. Don't believe me? Ask Realmworth II on how his videos got flagged by butthurt people he commentated on. And you're planning on doing more commentaries on old topics like Joshua8428 and trolls like Gligar13 vids? I believe I'm done, since there's not really much else to be said about this.
Right, it's Malik. Yesterday, I recently posted 12 short clips of my voice acting demos. While I was doing that, I'll give you an explanation. My dream career in life is to become a voice actor for video games, anime, and TV shows. I'm practicing. Okay, I'm fucking up more. All right, I'm really trying to be a voice actor. So, because it could help me overcome my disability. Most y'all don't know, I have Asperger's, ADHD, and autism. Pretty much voice acting be an outlet to overcome these disabilities, man.
Okay, now I know that we haven't gotten to your impressions just yet, but I feel the need to point this out since it'll be important later. Right now, your biggest issue is you seem to have a problem with speaking in general. Now, that could be due to your disabilities. Autism and Asperger's have caused some cases where a person can be a little hard at speaking. I should know. I have Asperger's myself, so I know what it's like.
Boy, Scarlet, you don't sound like you have Asperger's. What the heck are you talking about?
Retakes, motherfucker. Retakes. It's difficult at times, but talking about anything in a conversation or improv can be learned through practice. When you started recording this video, the first thing that caused some issues are that you're slow in your speech pattern, you stutter quite a lot, and you take way too much time to gather your thoughts. It helps to have written down what it is that you're going to say before speaking it, and it helps to try and repeat it a few times to make sure that you get it right before pressing the record button. There are other issues to address, but we'll tackle those as we go.
Basically, dream is fun to do voice acting. I pretty much want, and I want to work with the greats when it comes to voice acting. Meaning, I want to work with Troy Baker, the Nolan North, Cree Summer, Mark Hamill, etc. Should I say more? Basically, and while I was doing craft, while I was practicing, I also got to meet some voice acting actors and actresses themselves. Okay, I will list the voice actors and actresses. You don't have to take my word for it. But please, I met Christopher Sapp. You may know him as Vegeta and Piccolo on Dragon Ball Z. It's the phone. I met Cree Summer herself. Met Jim Cummings. You know his Dark Reed the Poop. Ignore that.
Okay, so here's a question I want to toss your way. Do you not have a better room to record in? In fact, do you even have a room at all? Because from the video here and the videos where you've done your voice demos, you don't seem to have a designated room for recording your demonstrations or rants, which is a necessity. Actors and actresses will always have a designated room for recording sessions. Sometimes it's a recording booth, or it's their closet with only the clothes inside to keep the sound from bouncing, or it's under the covers of their own bed sheets. It really doesn't matter as long as the sound is clear and crisp. There's that, and there's also the issue of background noise. Now, of course, background noise isn't something that people can control, but actors and actresses who record their lines can edit out background noise with the helpful little tool known as Audacity. Noise removal is a wonderful thing. You later on tell us to ignore the sounds, but really, it's you showing a case of reverse psychology. The more you tell us to ignore the background noise, the more we pay attention to it. You also go on to mention more of the voice actors you've met at conventions, but due to the poor pacing of your speech, you go on for a while, so let's skip ahead to what advice they have told you,
Basically, I was told making YouTubes can help me with my voice acting as well. So that's why I post those 12 videos yesterday. And those videos that I posted, they actually come from my Instagram account. Speaking of for my Instagram, it's @BeliefElder. Yeah, that's. I'll leave the link in the description, man. But that's not the point. I'm trying. Being a voice actor can help me in life. Help me overachieve my adversities. Hell, I'm just gonna be honest. It could pretty much help me catch up with my cousins and their talented abilities. And most y'all know this Brooklyn rock band, The Skins. Yes, please support their music. They are excellent. Three of the band members are excellent. I'm related to three of the band members of The Skins. And yes, they're by blood, not through marriage. Half my cousins in my family got musical talents, athletic talents. And this can help me keep up with it. And my acting talents can help me keep up with it. Talents. So I'm trying hard to be all I can be when it comes to voice acting.
So you want to be an actor so that you can keep up with your family who have talents that help them get their names out there. Now, this along with the goal of working with talents like Nolan North and Troy Baker are still very much out of reach. And that's not me being mean, that's me being realistic. Being able to keep up with the family you have seems more like a goal that's a little unhealthy. What do I mean by that? Well, you know how some artists will compare themselves to other artists that they follow and go, damn, I'm never gonna be like them. Why do I even bother? With the mindset of trying to catch up to others, reaching your goal is going to be harder on yourself than it is if you were just going at your own pace. You are just starting out, so there's no need to set your expectations so high. Start with the little things. Voice exercises, acting lessons, public speaking classes. Start learning and start practicing. YouTube videos are only going to get you so far. You're only at level 1, so get grinding. So with that, the first video ends, and already I can see some issues, but hey, we've just met the guy, so let's see what he has to offer.
I enjoy this shit, do you? You think I like doing this? Putting innocent people in harm's way. Separating the mothers and fathers from their children. You think I like doing this shit?
Oh boy! Why are you practicing in a public place? Why? So much background noise, so much cringe for the people around you. Bruh, mate, broski, for God's sakes, get a freaking room! No, seriously, get a room and record when the time is right. You'll avoid making people look at your direction when you're trying to practice.
I didn't mean no disrespect to you. I'm just asking, can you help my family? Because we are starving. We are homeless.
The power of Christ compels you! Oh, wait, it's just you. Why are you recording in the dark? I mean, you're finally in a private room, but goddamn, your eyes and teeth are the only thing I'm seeing here. If you want to show your face while doing demo reels, the least you can do is fix the lighting so that I can see you better. Okay. One more video, and this is the most recent one you've posted. So, what do you got?
You bad? You think you bad? Oh, yeah, go ahead, pull the trigger. Pull the fucking trigger, now! Come on, I'm double dare you, motherfucker.
Well, acoustic issues aside, I'll give you this. You apparently are not afraid to raise your voice when the scene demands it, so good on ya. But with all 3 of these demos that you've shown here, there's one common problem with these performances. They're all the same. Yeah, the last one has you louder than the others, but the character is the same. Overly dramatic, desperate, tense, And that's unfortunately all you've brought to the table. What happens when the character has something good happen to them? Do they laugh? Do they have any other emotion other than tension and desperation? When providing a demo, you need to be able to get into the minds of the character as well as read the surroundings they have to match the mood. A scary scene is not going to be the same if a character doesn't breathe heavily or scream when the monster comes around. A sad scene isn't going to do jack shit if the character doesn't sound like he or she is actually crying. A funny scene isn't going to deliver the punchline if the character can't provide the mood for the setup. A sexy scene isn't going to be titillating if the characters can't relax themselves to the point where they're comfortable doing it. Shut up, you know what I mean? What I'm getting at with all this is that you need so much work that even thinking about working with people in the voice acting business is out of your league right now. You want to get to the top? You fucking work for it. Get more variety with your scenes. Pick a good spot to record your lines and demos. Your mic on your phone is only going to get you so far, so save up for a good mic when you can. Learn how to work with Audacity and play around with it on the settings. Take some acting lessons, even if you think you don't need them. Organize your thoughts better by either writing a script or taking notes and memorizing them before you record. Talk to yourself in front of the mirror and perform some vocal exercises to warm your voice up. Your vocal cords will thank you in the long run. And finally, do not set your expectations up so high. Go at your own pace and keep working at it. One more thing, don't be afraid to audition for gigs every once in a while. Once you have the practice down, look around YouTube for a project that you'd like to audition for, but only if they're asking for auditions. Everyone has a potential in acting. They just have to care enough to do it.
I'm going to make sure I get the answers I seek this time around. Or at least I hope so, since I was left with more questions than answers from Doodleton's response video. So, without further ado, let's begin. So, I believe the main disconnect seems to be gender versus sex. So, here's what I've gathered so far. Sex is your biological sex. Fairly simple enough, right? Gender? Well, that's what you feel is your gender, even if it differs from your actual biological sex. However, I think this clip from E:R is much more descriptive of gender than I could ever word it, so take a listen.
Hey, a little trivia for you. Did you know that gender is a social sciences term from 1955, coined by a sexologist named John Money?
I did not.
Gender is defined as the state of being male or female, typically used with reference to social and cultural differences rather than biological ones. In layman's terms, gender is not your biological sex, but what you mentally think is your sex.
So this part wouldn't be so bad if the clip shown was just left as it is. Sadly, the clip goes on for much longer, getting into much more detail to how gender identity became the way that it is through human testing from a mad scientist, which led to both subjects committing suicide.
You should commit suicide too. Here's some bleach. It's cherry flavored.
You get that shit out of my face!
And while it's interesting information, it's a tad bit unnecessary, since all we really needed was a definition. Not to mention it triggers Mr. Gloomy over here, so...
But you love cherries!
I told you to get that shit out of my face!
Wouldn't those all count as gay?
Where the fuck did you get that idea? How can you hear the words straight or bisexual transgenders and make the connection, oh, you must mean gay? I sincerely hope you're trolling here. Transgenderism is where you identify as the opposite sex.
And this is where part of my confusion lies. It seems a lot of times you do what I do. Use sex and gender as synonyms, and yet you claim that they're two separate things. I'm not going to use them as synonyms anymore, but probably for a much different reason than you. Now the main question lies in this. If you're trans, are you the sex you're born with, or the opposite? Well, we'll get to that. But back to the point at hand. Going with your definition of gender, if a male or female person is sleeping with a woman, that's homosexual. However, notice how it's called homosexual, aka their sexual preferences. So, from a gender standpoint, this is correct. However, from a sexual standpoint, this is totally inaccurate, thus making this a heterosexual relationship. So basically, by certain definitions they're one, but by other definitions they are something completely different in terms of homosexual versus hetero.
What?
Exactly. What is it that you're talking about here? Your poor choice in wording isn't making your case accessible to what your point is trying to be. From what I can guess though, it all boils down to pretty much the same thing that Doodle says later on in the video, but just worded a lot more poorly. If you are transgender and you are in a relationship with someone that is the opposite of your identified gender, then you are in what could be considered a straight relationship. And if you date someone that is the same gender identification as the gender that you choose to identify, then you are considered to be in a homosexual relationship. You're sitting here claiming that that isn't what Doodles is saying, when yet it was, and you're just making things harder for your brain than it really needs to be.
Homosexuality is where you wish to sleep with the same sex. So, say if you're a pre-op male to female, sleeping with another female would technically be considered heterosexual.
No, I'm pretty sure that's homosexual. You are still the same sex biologically, but a different gender.
Can you just shut up and listen to what it is Doodles is trying to explain here, please?
What's the point? It's not like he's gonna get it anyways. And besides, we both know that you aren't an expert on the subject either, so why are you—
Now, what happens if a trans female starts dating a woman before going through the transition? Well, I guess then it would be considered homosexual by definition, but not prior to that.
Well, this makes even less sense. You just said pre-operation, so they still look like a guy, sound like a guy, etc. Yet if they simply claim, in this case, that they're a girl, this would be considered homosexual? This doesn't even make sense based on your definitions. I'm pretty sure the wording got mixed up here, since you did say at no point before that, which I assume means that you were trying to say someone post-op who now identifies as a girl and begins dating a girl would make this homosexual. But even that is wrong for reasons I've already explained.
But that's what she's been saying, you freaking baka!
Man, Gon is gonna be pissed.
Yeah, the wording did get freaking mixed up, but it's not the fault of Doodles. That's the fault of your poor hearing. You didn't pay attention in class when you were in high school, did you?
Let's not assume that, though. Now, to put it in layman's terms, a guy who still looks like a guy that is dating a girl is in a heterosexual relationship. A guy who identifies and has transitioned to become a girl and is dating a girl is in a homosexual relationship. We are focusing on the gender identity, not the biological sex. Did you get all that? Because this shit is going to be on a test later, and I ain't having no excuses if you didn't study on that.
Were, and in some cases are still a guy?
Sir, that is incredibly closed off, and here's why.
Enlighten me.
While technically, yes, as a transgender who finishes transitioning, you'll never be 100% female or 100% male.
Alright, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure no matter how hard a guy tries to become a girl, even if they get removed, they'll still be a guy because they still have a Y chromosome, not 2 X's.
Holy shit, I really, really don't like you right now.
Even though that's a sad reality when it comes to changing your biological sex, when it comes to gender identity, that isn't the case. Heck, there's a whole list of genders that people can decide to change to whenever they want. It's apparently that easy.
That's Tumblr logic, though. But even with the reality setting in that there is only 2 genders for the human race, deciding to identify as your opposite biological sex is still a fairly easy thing to do. Using he, she pronouns, changing the way you dress, changing the way you speak, changing your hairstyles, changing your freaking name to something that you would find more masculine or feminine. By doing that and sticking with that change, your identity is altered to where the former you is no longer existent. I know that we skipped this for the sake of time, but when you say that Doodles is mixing up sex and gender, are you sure it's not you projecting that confusion onto her?
But then again, every person has a little bit of their mother and father inside of them.
Alright.
Now, that may sound confusing, but hear me out. Chromosomes, that thing that we all know gives us our sex, is at base level there to carry our genetics.
I agree.
Females often have a small number of Y chromosomes. I grant you they're a microscopic number, but they're still there.
And there goes your argument. Now, according to my research, there is no proof to your claim that females can have Y chromosomes at all, even if microscopic or negligible. So you're gonna need to cite your sources on this one, otherwise I'm going to have to call this one an outright falsehood.
You know, you're actually right on this one.
Yes?
Yeah, Doodle should have cited her source in the original description of her video when she made the claim. Hell, to even make up for it, she put the original source in the description. But you know what I'm wondering? Where's your research sources?
The only source that you gave was Doodles' video, so why not your information? You could have even leaked the video from that clip from earlier. What, was that too much work for you?
It is now. Well, at least for us anyways.
The fuck is he going on about?
Don't acknowledge him.
The fact that we're even doing this commentary on Bob is pretty pointless. We're just gonna suck.
We're ignoring you. Come on, Scarly.
Now, this seems like a stretch, but hear me out. What do we as a species mostly look at when determining one's sex?
Show me your genitals.
No.
Hey, you know what else we look at? DNA. You just went from trying to use the chromosome argument to your advantage, to now trying to flat out ignore they exist.
No, she didn't. She was explaining that X and Y chromosomes can still exist in small amounts whether you're a boy or a girl. I know Scarlet didn't exactly read the entire article that Doodles was talking about.
Hey!
But the proposition that Doodles is trying to make to you isn't being heard because you keep talking over her. Please be quiet while I guest is speaking. You're disrupting the class, and if you continue to do this, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave.
You seem to be flipping on all your arguments, so please, pick a side and stick with it. Despite what surgery a person might go through, like it or not, if you have XY chromosomes, you're a guy. XX, you're a girl. Simple as that.
Okay, I know in hindsight that this is a fact, but with the way that you're saying it, it just comes off as mean.
Gender identities are not the same as your biological sex. If you identify as a woman, but you were born biologically male, then you are trans. How is this so fucking difficult? Of course you can't just switch from one sex to the other biologically, it's impossible. But as far as what you believe your gender identity is, you can identify as one or the other if it makes you feel more comfortable that way. Keyword here being identity.
That's not even mentioning how expensive it is to get hormone therapy and sex reassignment surgery.
You really gotta do this now, Mang?
I'm your depression, what do you expect? Besides, it's still true, you can't biologically change your sex unless you pay thousands of dollars that you don't have.
How is that even fair?
It's not.
Well, this commentary is certainly hitting a low point.
You want to take a break?
Yeah, no, we're moving on.
And if in the same scenario you're hooking up with a girl, you're still gay. I mean, you see what I mean?
Not by definition.
Can you please just pick a side and stick with it?
Can you?
You know, you've been repeating yourself throughout this whole video. Are we done yet? If not, I think that you two should stop.
Oh, no, we're not done here just yet. Well, yeah, that part was bad. It's nothing compared to what got Scarlet in this coma in the first place.
Wait, what was that part again?
You don't remember?
I'll fast forward and show her. She'll get to it soon enough.
Why are you essentially feeding the problem by trying to become a girl? Well, whatever. At least you know it's a mental illness.
I've never felt this offended before. Like, I'm not even offended that you said it, more offended that you believe this to be a legitimate point. So, why do I contribute to a problem by having gender dysphoria, which I consider to be a mental illness? Are you aware of what you're arguing here, sir? You're asking why one would choose to have a mental illness. Hey, schizophrenics, why have schizophrenia when you know it's absolute hell? Hey, people with PTSD, you are aware it's an issue, so how about we get over it? Hey, manic depressives, don't contribute to the problem, just kill yourselves!
Many of the things you just listed can't be controlled, but from my research, gender dysphoria is something that can be somewhat controlled. Some quotes for you, in case you're wondering. Symptoms of GID in children may include any of the following: disgust at their own genitalia, social isolation from their peers, anxiety, loneliness, and depression. And for adults with GID are at increased risk for stress, isolation, anxiety, depression, poor self-esteem, and suicide. Now, while these may all sound really bad at face value, and I get it, some people do genuinely face some of these things, do remember that these are all only possible symptoms. Like in those commercials you see for medicines, which list just about every single side effect known to man, just in case you happen to experience one. From what I can tell, the main driver of gender dysphoria is the first one, disgust at their own genitalia. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I see the others as things that can happen to anybody else, whether they have gender dysphoria or otherwise.
Okay, yeah, you're a dick. Ow, what the hell was that for?
You went out of character.
Well, can you fucking blame me? This guy's a fucking ignoramus on a unicycle!
Shut up, you're making it worse!
You've gotta be kidding me.
Scarlet?
Are you fucking shitting me?
Scarlet, calm down.
Fuck no! My gloves are coming the fuck off on this one! Gender dysphoria is a mental illness that causes symptoms like low self-esteem, depression, and thoughts of suicide. They don't just choose not to feel the way that they do because that's how their brains are wired. That's part of why they are trans. They don't just decide off the cuff to be trans and chop their balls off or rip their uteruses out. They can't help it. It's written in their DNA. It's how they are. You can't just assume that every mental illness is optional. That's backwards logic and completely ignorant to what science has proven for mental illnesses for the past fucking decade. Where the do you get off telling her that her mental illness is optional? No mental illness is optional. I have fucking depression, social anxiety, and Asperger's syndrome. Granted, it's not as bad as some other cases, but the effects of those mental illnesses are still there whether I like it or not. I can't help the fact that I worry about what other people think of me and my work. I can't help the fact that I'm gonna say the wrong thing at the wrong time without even realizing it because I can't word properly. I can't help the fact that I worry about my future with my job, my state of living, my romantic relationship, and the friends that I have around me, and whether they're going to still be there or not. And I especially cannot help the fact that this fucking asshole over here reminds me of all my fuck-ups, asks me if I'm gonna make something good enough, if I'm ever gonna be good enough, if I even matter in this fucked up little rock that we call planet fucking Earth, and if I should even bother living at all. I don't have a choice. The only saving grace that I do have is that I know that it's fucking there. I know I don't have it as bad as some other people that go through this kind of thing, if not worse. But for fuck's sakes, you cannot say that these kinds of things are optional. They aren't just possible symptoms. They are symptoms that go on through people's lives. There's nothing that doctors can do to cure it. All they have is medicine that balances some of the chemicals that they are lacking in their brain, and sometimes that works, but ultimately doesn't make the problem go away. It stays there. And people have to live with it. You might even have a mental illness and not even know it until it comes along and rears its ugly fucking head. But hey, what do I know? It's not like I looked up this information and really fucking researched as to what these fucking things were. Oh, fucking wait! There's a source right now! And while the source of gender dysphoria isn't classified under mental illness, that doesn't deny the fact that what comes from gender dysphoria is a form of mental illness. If you even fucking bother to do one shred of fact-checking, you'd be a hell of a lot better off. But you did it. Why? Who the fuck knows? Just fucking... Ah!
We're gonna keep going now, okay, Scarlet? Okay. And you...
Right, no out of character outburst. Back to gloom and fucking doom.
Holy shit! How do you say that, then edit a video where you say that, and leave it in?
Because I wasn't trying to compare controllable and uncontrollable mental diseases. Look, here's a simplified version. Some people get mad or upset at certain situations and simply cannot control an emotional outburst if something is wrong, like some people with Asperger's or autism. However, a majority of the population can control themselves when they get angry or upset. In this case, while yes you do indeed have gender dysphoria, it's not like you can't control yourself from realizing your circumstances and choosing to accept things the way they are.
But mental illnesses aren't the same as getting angry or sad. You can't control a mental illness like schizophrenia and just not see things and hear things that aren't there.
Did it not once occur to you that maybe people don't actually have a choice in the matter over whether or not they have something considered a mental illness?
Again, controllable versus uncontrollable. Even if people with gender dysphoria can't choose to have this certain disgust or not, which I'm pretty sure most or all can't, that doesn't mean you have to act on it.
So then what's your solution to gender dysphoria then? To just let transgender people wallow in their self-hate? They can't just automatically accept what they were born with. It's something that they have to take care of. Even if they choose to see a psychiatrist, the first thing that they will likely suggest is treatment of hormone therapy and eventually sex reassignment surgery. And even if they don't have the money for those things, like Scarlet said earlier, changing small things can overall help those who are trans better handle their dysphoria.
Now, Diddletones continues to cover this, but I pretty much said everything I can say without sounding like a broken record. Let's move on.
My dispenser. I know that this is nitpicky and kind of off topic with what we're talking about right now, but that skip card could be a bit shorter. Scarlet? Scarlet, don't you want to do this commentary? Scar? Onito?
Ow! What the fuck?
Are you just gonna sit there and sulk, or am I gonna have to do this call all by myself?
Look, do whatever you want. I don't even care anymore.
You're kidding me. You're stopping?
You realize that I just opened myself up to everyone in the CC now, right?
So, they know a little more about you, and you certainly drove a point home.
And? It's not like it's gonna matter anyway.
See, now you're saying exactly what it is that he wants you to say. Look, he's sitting there with that dumb smile on his face. This is what happens when your depression starts to hit.
It wasn't even him, though.
It doesn't matter. You're letting him win. I know that you can't help the fact that he's there and that he still does all these things to you, but sucking care is only gonna make him smile. And not that good kind of smile, more like the cynical, ha, I told you so kind of smile.
Then what the hell am I supposed to do?
What you always do. Take a breath and push forward. I know it's difficult, but I know that you want to get out of here and wake up. 'Cause you know that you don't like keeping your people waiting.
Your skip card is shit.
So if you're trans, which are you? Are you one or the other still? Are you both? Neither? Guess what? All this is confusing.
I really don't see how it's this hard to understand.
It's hard to understand because sex and gender were getting confused, and now I think that I'm even more confused because it seems we can't come to a reasonable consensus on which is which.
Because you refuse to hear her out. Throughout this whole thing, and I know I've been repeating this for like the past century this video has gone on, you've done nothing but cut her off and continue to ask the same questions from before, and when the answers are right there in front of you, you don't take them. It's like saying, hey, you sure this bottle of bleach will kill me if I drink it?
Well, considering it's cleaning fluid and most cleaning fluids are considered toxic if you ingest it, then yes.
But wait, are you sure that this will kill me? I'm so confused.
Me too.
Can we skip ahead, Scarly?
Go for it.
Gender is more of a social thing that affects the mind, whereas sex is what's seen as more important.
Yeah, again, chromosomes. Oh, and also, let me remind you that no matter how much reassignment surgery you go through, guys who claim to be girls won't be able to get pregnant, and girls who claim to be guys won't be able to get other people pregnant.
Okay, getting pregnant is really the last thing on a transgender's mind. Well, as far as what they are more concerned about, mind you. If transitioning from one sex to another costs the ability to bear offspring, then oh fucking well, it's not like we're a dying breed or anything. And besides, there are adoptions and sperm donors for families that want to have kids but are unable to bear any of themselves. Even if they are trans and they want to have kids, there's more than one way to become a parent.
And besides that, Doodles is asexual. She's not exactly concerned with getting a boyfriend or a girlfriend, let alone becoming a mom.
You know, that kind of makes me wonder, what would Doodles be like as a mom?
Wanna make Mama Doodles a meme?
Do it.
You know what? For once, I'm with him.
It would be really great if guys could stay guys and girls could stay girls. But I can only hope, I suppose.
So you don't want trans people to be happy? Why? Isn't that a little bigoted?
Oh boy. And here we get into the you just don't want people to be happy argument. So Crowder, take it away.
But the language we use, and we're going to get something really important here because he abandoned his wife and kids, the culture of me, and that's what the LGBTQ AI and Asylum F transgender movement is about, the social justice warrior movement. It's about me and my personal happiness. Assigned at birth, like a doctor, took the baby out of the womb, looked at it, said, oh, there's a penis. What do we choose to assign this? I don't know. Let's oppress him with male. That'll be good. That'll screw her up. Here's the problem, right? If you say this is hateful. This is clearly somebody who's mentally disturbed. This is somebody who is mentally unhealthy. And unless you accommodate their delusion, Ben Shapiro's talked about this, it is a delusion. You're considered hateful.
Whew, boy. Crimson, you want to take Bobble at Take Crowder?
Hi! So as far as the answer to Doodles' question is concerned, yes. Yes, he is that bigoted. The whole argument of, oh, you just don't want people to be happy isn't what she was getting at here. Doodles was more so reiterating the fact that you lack the knowledge of how gender dysphoria affects the minds and what can be done about it, i.e. transitioning. Most doctors will tell their patients who are trans to work towards sex reassignment surgery so that they can stop their low self-esteem, their self-hate, and to an extent, their depression. Of course, not all guys are going to stay guys and not all girls are going to stay girls. That's just how the earth is. People on it change in one way or another, and this is one of those ways.
And as far as that long-ass clip of Crowder that you brought up, holy mother of God almighty, you took this guy out of context like there was no fucking tomorrow. The clip itself is from Crowder talking about a 52-year-old man who decided to leave his wife and kids to become a 6-year-old girl. Transitioning from male to female is one thing, but it isn't the same as transitioning ages. Mainly because you can't transition ages. Yes, there is a form of gender identity in what is going on in this particular story, but to say that the guy was mentally disturbed to think that he can revert ages and play with little girls and no one would bat an eye to it is not so egregious when you hear it and know its context. Context that you fail to provide. I don't agree with everything that Crowder said in that particular podcast clip, obviously, since what he said about the LGBT movement and their goals being more selfish to an absurd degree, but using these portions of the clip to match Bob's idea of transgenders is like taking a page from the Bible and making it anti-gay for the sake of their own anti-LGBT agenda. It's sick.
I mean, it would be nice if people didn't have to go through dysphoria, and maybe that's what you meant.
Well, yes and no.
Keep digging that hole, buddy. I'll just be over here drinking my vanilla Coke.
I thought you were a weeb.
I'm whatever the fuck I wanna be.
Oh, Crimson said a bad word!
But the way that you worded this sounds like a plea from a Christian who doesn't understand the modern world.
Oh, I understand it. Believe me. Now, that's about it for this video except her final thoughts, so let's get into those.
Alright, I don't want to believe you made this with bigoted beliefs and malice, but the way everything was worded makes it hard to believe that.
Well, that was not the intent, but I apologize nonetheless.
Everything that was worded here was honestly very ignorant. I get transgenderism and the idea behind gender dysphoria aren't easy things.
You can say that again.
Hell, science doesn't even have it all down pat, so I won't pretend to be an absolute expert. But just going off of what we do know of transgenderism and sexuality, we can kind of get a good idea of how these things work. It's as simple as adding 1 + 1 from there.
Is that so? Because even in your own video, you can't seem to make up your mind on which is which. So you just have to go back and forth between a little bit of each.
What they said earlier, they're not talking to me, so, yeah.
Despite all that though, I hope I was able to answer your questions, despite how blunt I was with it.
While I appreciate that you were blunt, I think besides the bisexual thing, you gave me more questions than you did answers. So, now it's my turn for my final thoughts. If this were an A for effort type of world we lived in, I would say you did a very good job. You attempted to explain your points, and some of them you even tried backing up. Sadly, with some of the claims you made not having any evidence to back them up, the entire argument would end up falling flat on its face. I guess you could say I did something very similar with my original response video, which I would have to kinda agree with you there on that one. However, your arguments weren't helped by the fact that you couldn't remain consistent on certain basic points, such as whether sex and gender are the same or different, which seems to be the underlying issue of this whole thing. Well, that's about it for now. Thank you all for watching, and take care.
Holy fuck a doodle-doo. This video was abysmal. Like, I get that you'd want to have some questions answered. That's fine. There's no harm, or at least there shouldn't be when it comes to this kind of topic, because yeah, it is a confusing thing at times. But as far as the basics of what makes a transgender person should be as simple as making a peanut butter sandwich, but you make it harder than it needs to be. You cut her off when she's trying to answer your question. You insult her by saying that her dysphoria that she considers to be a mental illness is something that she chooses. And you project your confusion onto her by saying that she is confusing the differences between sex and gender, when the only one confusing the terms is you. And you know, it's a shame really. Not the fact that I thought that you couldn't be any worse than what you presented yourself to be before this video, but the fact that you refuse to look at Doodles as a person and treat her like she's some performer at a circus freak show. You're not really missing out on a completely perfect person, but you're shutting yourself out on a potential friend to make and an open mind. You say you have an idea on how the world works, but you don't, and it shows. Start opening up to new and different ideas from people that are vastly different from you and your little bubble. You'll grow into a better person that way. Till then, ball's in your court.
Video about Cole Sprouse. I guess this is a little rant, but I am angry and I've been angry a few days because of Cole Sprouse and this terribleness. I don't understand what he's doing with his life, but he's bothering me quite a bit.
Okay, first off, you say in the original video that you know that your webcam is shit, yet you're still using it. Even if you say, I know my webcam is shit, so stop complaining, people are still gonna complain. Second, you certainly don't sound angry at all on what Cole Sprouse has done. In fact, you almost seem to be quite happy. Does anyone else find this creepy?
So I'm going to break down what he did and what he did to anger me and many, many other people quite a bit. And then
Wait. What? No! Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Did you even check your video's audio? I have made this mistake before, and I should know! People really do not like it! So right now, I'm just gonna use the magical power of skipping to skip through his explaining on who Cole Sprouse is. Quite honestly, I think pretty much everyone in the US know who he is already, and those who don't can just Google it.
And then he made a Tumblr. And everyone on Tumblr was like, oh my god. And this wasn't like a celebrity Tumblr like Miranda Cosgrove's Tumblr or anything. I don't know why I bring up Miranda Cosgrove, but this was like his Tumblr. Like, you know, he blogged and he posted pictures. And it was awesome because this is a person that we've all watched for a very long time, and a celebrity that was one of us, and posted funny pictures. And I mean, it was a bit pretentious, but awesome at the same time because we got to know him. And it wasn't like getting to know him like an interview or anything. Like, we legitimately felt like we were friends with him. And if you used YouTube or go on any social networking site or sites like YouTube or Tumblr or anything, when you follow someone or subscribe to them for a long time and you keep up with them, you legitimately feel like you know them. Like, there are people on Tumblr.
Okay, I'm sorry. I dozed out for a second there. Is he still going? God damn! When is he going to cut to the chase?
We were all happy, and we were all very happy to have Cole Sprouse on Tumblr, and then he did something that angered everyone.
I can't even begin to tell you how many minutes you ran on about Tumblr and a bunch of nonsense that no one cares about. I have to shorten this so that my audience won't fall asleep. You're welcome, by the way. You seriously had to talk about Tumblr for a majority of the video? You couldn't just get on with it? This proves it! You must be on meth!
This is kind of terrible, and it's really douchebaggy move. So, he deleted his Tumblr.
Wait, what?
He deleted his Tumblr and
That's all he did?!
and deleted my Tumblr, but he didn't just delete his Tumblr. You know, he's like, I don't want to deal with Tumblr. I don't really want to deal with Tumblr anymore. He says, this was an experiment. I wanted to see how you'd react to this. Anthropological jazz. Now, that's terrible. He was pretending to be someone he's not, so that he could do an experiment without telling us that this is an experiment.
This was all part of his master plan to see how people would react if he deleted his Tumblr. If that's all he did, then why are you making such a big deal out of it? And the whole point of the experiment was to see your reaction, so of course he wouldn't tell you. See guys, this is why I don't smoke, inject, or snort up any kind of drug into my system. Because I would get shitty logic like this.
In fact, not only terrible, but I did read a Tumblr post, which I don't know the validity of, I probably should have looked it up, where someone was like, you know what, in anthropology we learn about this moral code where we're supposed to, like, tell people if we're experimenting with them. We're not supposed to, like, do cultural experiments, right? Without their knowledge. And Cole Sprouse does this without her knowledge. I mean, he's not writing a paper or anything, but he still did an experiment on a fundamental level, and he wanted to see how it would react to it. And
not all experiments can be done with a person's knowledge. Let's say you knew that you were about to be scared. Then it'd make the experiment less scary, and thus a total failure. This was a reaction test. And you know what? It was a success, so thank you for proving his experiment successful, you dumbass.
we were furious. We were like, oh my god, this guy's a douchebag. He's not one of us. He's just a terrible person who's acted like a dick and gained our trust and made us be friends with him and made us think that we legitimately know him and made us relate to him on a fundamental level like he was a friend of ours, and then said, no, it's all fake. I'm just pretending to be someone like Envy from Fullmetal Alchemist. I mean, he didn't say he was like being like Envy from Fullmetal Alchemist, but do you see the irony there? So, I'm not gonna edit the picture.
Yes, and it's also too much work to edit out your ramblings, stutters, and your screwed up audio. So, you're a meth head and lazy? What a wonderful combination that must be.
So, people editing and replacing his name with peasant because, you know, he's kind of a peasant and he's kind of a dick. And, yeah, and then people are like, stop whining. He was just doing experiments. You're just proving him right. Like, shut up. No. He made us think he was like us. He made us relate to him and think that he was a normal person like us, despite the fact that he was famous and we all knew of him as a famous person. He made us think he was one of us, and then he just lied about it. He was just like, hey, I'm a liar. I mean, it was kind of obvious. He did say he's not one of us, and he did say that his Tumblr URL was culture concept. So, it was kind of obvious. But I mean, who would jump to that conclusion? That this man wasn't actually...
Yet you said that he made it seem like he was really friends with you, so of course you fell for it. Therefore, his attempts were not as obvious as you say they were. And just saying shut up because people are saying that you're proving his experiment right is really ignorant. So you're going to tell me to shut up, and then what? No matter what you do, I'm still going to be right when I say such a thing to you.
Conclusion that this man wasn't an actual person trying to be friends with us, but rather a person trying to play a trick on us. What is wrong with you, Cole Sprouse? I do not like you, and if I were to see you walking down the street in real life, I'd probably look at you, and I'd be all like, I don't like you, and then walk away. Because you're a dick. And you suck. And he did and this video's long, so bye.
Listen, I'm glad that all of this has been cleared up, and that Spoctor's reputation has pretty much been salvaged, but personally, I'm a bit annoyed.
Salvaged? Unfortunately, it's not. I mean, yeah, the evidence proving his innocence is out there for the whole ranting community to see, but that doesn't mean that his reputation is automatically saved. There are still some members of that audience sticking by those claims despite the evidence provided being proved to be unreliable and faulty. Hell, even Atari herself still stands by the evidence that was presented in regards to those allegations. She doesn't stand by the other things that she said, but in her apology video, she claims that she still believes Spoctor committed a crime. If this were a perfect world, and with all the evidence to what was originally brought up against Spoctor were indeed false allegations, then yes, it would mean that Spoctor's online presence would be completely salvaged. But this isn't the case. Even if those allegations placed upon you were proven to be false, the fact that you were given those allegations in the first place raises so many red flags to bigger names on the platform and those outside of it should Spoctor try to move on. This is not something that he can easily come back from.
You actively made everyone believe that you were guilty of all of this, and you used your hormones as an excuse, which made me fucking livid and caused me to make my own video shaming you because of it. And now, I just feel like a dickhead. I feel like a huge dickhead because it turns out this entire time, you had screenshots that proved your innocence. What the fuck? What the fuck, dude? If you had screenshots that proved your innocence, why the fuck would you let Atari and Pentagon get away with this in the first place, and even go as far as to lie and admit to things you didn't do? In PK Russell's most recent video, he brings up the point that Spoctor was backed into a corner, and that he would have received even more backlash if he had tried proving his innocence in the first place.
But Parker, Spoctor admitted to all this and apologized. What other option did he have? Could you imagine if he had defended himself, the even further backlash he would have received? It would have been 10 times worse. Would have been 10 times worse. He had no option other than to apologize and admit to doing stuff he didn't actually do, because if he tried to defend himself, it would have made him look terrible.
I'm sorry, Parker, but I completely disagree with that statement. I disagree entirely. If I were in Spoctor's situation, and I was being accused of being a sexual predator, and I had evidence that would pretty much prove my innocence, and make Pentagon and Atari look like fucking retards, you better fucking believe I'd make a video defending myself using those screenshots. And considering the positive feedback Pondersprockets and PK Russell's videos have gotten, I guarantee that if Spoctor would have just defended himself in the first place, this all could have been resolved within, like, the first 2 days of this happening. Just fuck, dude. I feel like an asshole.
This was the biggest thing in the video that sent me screaming into my pillow in frustration. Jack, what you would have done in the situation that Spoctor was in is irrelevant. You are not Spoctor, who happens to be a child being accused of sexual abuse towards other children, whom, by the way, are in his age range. I have no idea how old you are. From what I've heard, it's either early to mid-20s, but it really doesn't matter because what you are suggesting is completely unrealistic. Are you oblivious to how the ranting community reacts, or any young community like this reacts, when something like this happens? Are you aware of the mob mentality that goes on in the community you are a part of and how you are contributing to that problem? Like you said before, you made a video completely tearing Spoctor apart for his apology video about the situation, thus feeding into the mentality the mindless sheep were passing around like hot dogs. You didn't think for yourself and look at the situation objectively until someone with more balls than anyone here did. Or tentacles in this case. And oh, it doesn't end there with you, no siree! It's clear that you still want to blame Spoctor for something. I mean, yes, he is guilty of sexual misconduct to some degree, but he did so with provocation towards him from the people who just decided to ruin his life. Essentially what I'm saying here, Jack, is that you're implying that Spoctor is still at fault for not coming out sooner. Let me ask you, how often do rapists get convicted for their crimes? Like, actual rape victims bringing the crime to the light of the justice system and reporting it like we try to encourage them to do, and that the claims being made were indeed legitimate, resulting in the perpetrators being put into prisons for their crimes. You should know that it's not a lot. The same can be said for victims of false allegations of sexual abuse. It's embarrassing, it's degrading, and it reminds those who were affected of a time where the world was against them. And if those allegations weren't proven false by the victims defending themselves and they're already on the list of sexual offenders, then how can they defend themselves at that point?
Oh, but Spoctor's not on the sexual offenders list, so he can still prove himself innocent.
Really? He didn't have the courage to until Ponder's video came out. He was and still is a scared kid who now has to deal with this load for the rest of his life. He now has the courage to defend himself, and he will likely provide his side of the conversation within that thread of screenshots, but he will do so tactfully, unlike the rest of this community. Quick note I want to bring up is that in 2 days after Jackoon's video, Spoctor released a statement saying that he was in fact toyed with, and that most of the evidence that was brought up, that being about 90% of it, were deleted. So even if he did try to bring up those screenshots from his end, the messages from the other person's side of the exchange are gone, making it even more difficult for him to prove his innocence. He was well aware that the screenshots posted as evidence were lies, but knew that if he were to come out and try to defend himself, that he would be in an even worse position. So essentially, this video's existence pretty much proves you wrong right out of the gate. For the rest of the video, you claim that you don't want to put Spoctor down, but that the situation should have been handled better. And you're right. Except that in the case that you're still putting Spoctor down by blaming him for not bringing in the evidence, and that, frankly, he himself probably didn't know he had until the screenshots provided were proven to be more slanderous than anything. This is the biggest problem that I have with the ranting community, and this is something that I believe to be a problem that is fixable, but will take a lot of time to do so. The mob mentality is the biggest concern that can and has been proven to be very damaging to those who choose to make this kind of content and those who choose to watch it. The fact that this audience is so young and impressionable is one thing, and they have their own faults for being as easy to manipulate as demonstrated. But the fact that the majority of what I've seen in regards to these dramas that have happened throughout the years this community has been alive in is that the content creators tell their audience what to think. I'm not saying that every big name in the community does this, but the fact that there are some who actually use their name to tell others what to think under the guise of criticism is very destructive and dangerous. In regards to you, Jack, you're essentially feeding into the problem by fanning those flames. It is clear that you don't want to discuss but to fight and to be angry at someone just because a bigger person said you should. If you felt bad about going along with these allegations, then the smart thing to do would have not been to only acknowledge that the information presented to you was faulty and that you were guilty of following that mob mentality, but also to apologize. Not to go on about what you would have done differently, or how Spoctor is still to blame for not defending himself when he had no courage to do so, and to not fault someone for not being able to defend themselves against serious claims. Try to look at the situation from his perspective, and look at the rest of it objectively. And this goes for everyone else. I cannot stress how important it is for you to think for yourselves. We here in the commentary community went through similar events many years ago, and here we are, a more civil community than we were. Yes, we still have our issues to sort out, but at the very least we can see objectively where the problems lay and how much energy we should put into addressing them. You as a community have the potential to grow and learn from each other, but the minute that something like this happens, whether it be to this scale or smaller, you cannot dogpile onto someone with hatred because someone you like said that they were a horrible person. A wise tiger once said, "Think for yourself." Now, for those who are making content that discuss other individuals and topics, the biggest thing that I'd like to recommend to all of you is to be mindful of how you come across in your content. You do leave an impact, and while I don't expect you to know your audience 100%, and that is difficult to even try, if you know the nature of your audience, then you should apply that knowledge to how you create your content. You're of course free to state your opinions on whatever topic you decide to cover, but give your audience room to think for themselves and encourage them to do so. By doing so, you give your audience the respect of treating them as people and not numbers. I know it seems like a no-brainer, but from what I've seen in the ranting community thus far, it does seem like there are many who tend to forget that.
Hello here, I am Galamasan, and I am going to do a commentary on probably one of the dumbest things I've heard Coppercab ever say, which is good for my first commentary, so I have a lot of things to contradict on. Either way, let's get started. Roll it.
I'm American and I'm proud of it, okay? And I love America, and
well, I think you can kind of tell that you're patriotic. I mean, that America shirt you're wearing kind of, makes it a little obvious.
And I'm not racist, I'm all for equality, everyone was created equal.
Okay, now remember that quote, okay? Because later on I'm going to have to mention it, because a lot of the stuff he says contradicts this one quote.
If that's the case, then something tells me that I'm not the only one that's going to end up repeating herself.
I do not like what is happening. I come home from a trip to my country, down in the South, proudest part of America, okay? And I come home, and I turn on my local radio station, and I hear, Gangnam Style!
Coppercab, if you don't want people to troll you, then stop acting so goddamn ridiculously.
Oh, wait, you actually think he's legit, don't you? Just keep waiting here, folks. I'll break the news to her soon.
Hey, it pisses me the fuck off that my country is being brainwashed by North Korean pop culture. Does no one realize what they're doing?
Coppercab, look. All companies brainwash people. I mean, okay, not all of them, but like most of them. Adverts brainwash people into wanting their product. The government brainwashes people into, believing what they believe by the news. And apparently when pop culture does it, it's not good, when pretty much everything else could do it fine and you don't complain.
I don't know if the word brainwash is something I would use to describe something governments in different countries do. I personally like the word persuade. Secondly, the government isn't a company. It's a system that was made by the nation, state, or community. Depending on where you're from, the government can work very differently, but I can tell you that none of them work like a music company. And thirdly, it is extremely difficult for me to understand what you're saying with the quality of the mic that you have. Have you considered editing your mic to where it doesn't sound so muffled using programs like, Audacity or WavePad? Oh, and they're free, by the way! Did you know that? You can't be that sheltered to the point where you don't know what these programs are, right? Right?
Blink, open your fucking eyes, okay? More than those North Koreans are.
Okay, reference to the last quote. You say you're not a racist, but you made a statement that apparently implies that North Koreans can't open their eyes. And apparently, you're not a racist. I mean, yeah, I'm not a racist. I'm all for equality, but I hate North Koreans. 'Cause that makes sense.
They're trying to wash our popular culture out and replace it with their own. Does no one realize this shit but me?
Okay, Coppercab, calm the hell down. If you do nothing but shout the whole time, you're gonna look like an idiot. And no one's gonna believe you because no one believes in idiots.
That right there is where everything in your commentary falls apart because people can easily say that Coppercab is a troll! He's not supposed to be taken seriously! He's supposed to piss you off! That's what trolls do! And right now, he's getting what he wants from you! Attention! And he's such an old topic that you don't realize this? How long have you been on the internet? No, wait, scratch that. How come you didn't look into the history of this guy that could have been found anywhere on the internet?
I mean, if Martin Luther King did nothing but shout at the audience all the time, black people would be still treated as second-class citizens. No one's going to take in your point if you shout all the time. That's what I'm saying.
Korea. We are at a civil war with North Korea.
Coppercab, have you ever looked in a dictionary? You can't be in a civil war between another country, because civil wars are between one country. If it was between two countries, it would just be called a war.
Yeah, and we are celebrating their country and their culture and ours. We're putting their shitty fucking music on my radio station.
Coppercab, there is a difference between listening to their music and celebrating their culture.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't listening to music a way of celebrating your culture?
I mean, even if we were celebrating a culture, what's the problem? What's wrong with racial awareness? In fact, if you're such a not racist, you should find that fine that we are actually listening to their music. I mean, seriously.
Radio station! My radio station! Not theirs! Mine! Okay?
Wait, so you don't like the fact that there is Korean music on an American radio channel? Do you realise that Americans actually have their music on foreign channels? And apparently when North Korea have their music on a channel of a country that's not theirs, it's bad. But when America do the exact same thing, it's fine. Boy, there is nothing racist about that at all.
Well, look who's going off the handle. Didn't you tell Coppercab to calm down? Whew, is it just me, or are these tensions getting hot in here?
Yeah! North Korea is taking over our country slowly, okay? All you other countries out there, listen to me right now. If you're out there, if you're Italian, if you're Mexican, if you're Jamaican, if you're Francin, all of you people out there, listen to me right now, okay? Wherever you're from. They could be coming for your country next to.
Wait. You find every other country fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but listen, you claim you're not a racist, and you think that everyone from every country is okay, and they're all equal, but apparently people in North Korea are the evil ones. Nothing racist about this statement at all.
I believe we've seen this song and dance already, sweetheart. Have you considered not being a one-trick pony? See what I did there?
It is on my local. We don't even understand what the words are to the song. It's North Korean. They could be talking about the fall of America, and no one would even care.
Do you really think that not a single American knows the Korean language? I mean, there are some of us which are actually bothered to learn the language. I mean, and since there are Americans who know the language, I think they'll be able to translate the lyrics, and then we'd see what it says. And if it is about the fall of America, I think we'd all have found out, and it'd probably be banned from our radios.
Get your shit culture out of ours! This is America, okay? I don't hate Koreans. I don't have a problem with Korea at all. I love Korea, okay?
Wait. You have been trolling on Korea the whole time, showing them as the bad guy and these evil people, and now you love them. Makes perfect sense.
Of course it does. If you're a troll. Look, sweetie, Mommy's going to tell you something about Coppercab. He's just like Santa Claus. He isn't real.
Taken as a fool, and I'm not gonna look like an idiot, okay? I'm not stupid! I am not gonna be made to look like a fool!
Coppercab, it is not our fault that you make yourself look like a fool. It is your fault that you make yourself look like a fool. You're the one making yourself look like a fool.
I just want all of you to realize and to wake up and realize that they are probably all on their laptops right now going, "Oh, look at the Americans, they are falling for our shit!"
Totally not racist. Oh, totally not racist at all. All!
Shit. I think I just called it on the singing dance.
I'm not, no! People, wake up, okay? This K-pop stuff, it's evil. And I want it off of my radio station, and I want it off of my television! I'm American, and I'm proud of it! America! America! Woo! Yeah!
Coppercab, We all know what happened. It's very simple. A Korean song got popular, you had a massive tantrum over it because you didn't like the song, and then you made up this whole entire conspiracy about it. Either that, or you're just really stupid. Oh, come on. I think Justin Bieber was overrated, but I didn't have a temper tantrum when I was released. Seriously. Either way, just let people have what they want. I mean, just because you don't know the appeal doesn't mean it shouldn't exist. Either way, I'm glamazing, I'm sounding out, and, do not watch Coppercab.
Holy mother of fuck, thank God. Either Slap Happy Gamer is damn good at trolling, or you are really that naive to think that Coppercab is still relevant and legit. I'm hoping for the first, but I'm willing to bet it's the second. Other than your obvious fault in believing this guy's words, your mic quality was shit, and you don't know what to say without a script. Get better material to work with in commentaries, fix the quality of your mic, and at least take some fucking note on what you want to say on the subject.
Hello, this is the Orion Broadcast here, and welcome to an Orion commentary. In this commentary, I will be commentating on part of a video title to the Orion Broadcast by Beastily Eevily, where at first she gives constructive criticism, and then suddenly, when she gets to how I treat religion, she loses all credibility by exposing herself to me as a Christophania-infected imbecile who believes that homosexuality is sinful. But before I get started critiquing her mistakes amid the video in question, I will acknowledge her constructive criticism. When she got to the message, she first brought up the issue of Confused Matthew and the Lion King. Beastily Eevily, you should be surprised. I already know that Confused Matthew is matured, and I hardly hear from anything or hear nothing from Confused Matthew fanboys these days. Plus, you are right that I should ignore commentaries and rants on me that make no good points, rather than responding, and that I should pick my battles. However, if you say stupid things that are of a religious fundamentalist nature, I will respond. Otherwise, I'll ignore you.
Okay, here's the thing, though. The whole point of Evie's rant was to actually critique your videos from an unbiased viewpoint and giving you the critique that you so desperately wanted to hear in the manner that you wanted to hear it. But when she brings up your beliefs and how you discriminate Christians on their beliefs, oh no, it's suddenly a bad critique! I wonder why.
In 5 years, I will not even worry about Confused Matthews even a single teeny tiny bit. And that will happen a whole lot sooner than that at this rate. Like me, she also thinks that Confused Matthew's Lion King review was trash, but what she says about things like science and homosexuality are going to be just as stupid and a lot worse.
Nope, we're not going to sit through his response to the Star Trek and Star Wars debate because it is boring as all hell. So...
After she said the stupid stuff that I will criticize in this commentary, she went on about criticizing both the speech and the speaker. I already get it, and it is not the reason for this commentary, so I'll skip that too. Then she said that she hopes that I do not do a commentary on that video of hers. Too bad, Beastily Eevily. You just sealed your own video's fate for my commentary targeting with the middle content that you put in, since it is the type of trash that I came onto YouTube to shoot down. Then again, I will only commentate on part of that video. She brought up that debates can be good, but in some of the content in her video that I will shoot down, there is no legitimate debate, just pure apologetics.
Okay, class. Now please keep what he just said in the back of your mind, because later on, he will not only shoot himself in the foot, but also shoot himself in the mouth for what he will say next.
And here's another message that you like to repeat. Your views on religion and science. Let me just say this, Orion. I am a right-wing fundamentalist Christian. I do consider myself in that aspect. I'm not liberal in my beliefs at all. I think more in a libertarian standpoint, but you could argue I probably think more right-wing. I have more fundamentalist...
Thanks for informing me, Beastily Eevee, that you are a Christophorenia-infected retard, and of course I do not respect your beliefs in religion, and we're about to see why.
Views, I suppose, in the sense of I do believe that homosexuality is a sin, but then again, I believe a bunch of other things are sins as well. And to me personally, because it's a sin, I believe in don't hate the player, hate the game. I hate the sin, I don't hate the person who's committing the sin. I sin all the time, and I can say quite clearly that it's difficult to not sin, so I don't really mind homosexuals. I don't agree with their lifestyle. And somebody puts a ballot in front of me and asks whether I would vote for gay marriage or not, I would vote no. I would vote for no gay marriage. But I would not go pick at the White House in anger over if it being legalized. I wouldn't.
You do realize that your opinion on homosexuality is what got me into disrespecting and attacking religion in the first place. By holding such views and saying that you would vote to take away gay people's right to marry the person they love, you prove to me that you are a bigot. Voting against somebody's right, which includes voting to outlaw gay marriage, is forcing your beliefs onto other people. I want you to realize that.
And I want you to realize that, no it isn't. She was given the choice to vote for gay marriage, and she has every right to oppose it. You can't take away her freedom to vote, because if you did, then that would be forcing your opinion onto other people. She's not forcing her beliefs onto anyone. She's expressing her right to vote for gay marriage or not, and isn't that part of what this country is about? The right to vote? If it were me, I would vote for gay marriage because I don't believe it is a sin either, but for those that do vote for gay marriage to be illegal in a state, I'm not going to go raging at them and call them a bigot like you are doing right now. Because I'm not a child.
You say that you don't get angry or pick at the White House if gay marriage were legalized, but you're just being a hypocrite because you also say if you had the chance you'd vote to outlaw gay marriage.
Because it is her belief that homosexuality is a sin. However, does that make her a hypocrite when just earlier in the video she stated that she hates the sin and not the person? If she hated the person and not the sin, then that would make her a hypocrite because, as she said, she sins too, and it is very hard for a human being not to sin. So again, I ask, how is she a hypocrite for expressing her right to vote? Psst, that was a rhetorical question, by the way.
In the state of Iowa, it's legalized. Am I upset about it? A little, but I'm not gonna go throw a fit over it. I view other policies a little bit more important than that. And I also view that loving the person is more important than the actual action. Just a little backdrop on that. You cannot control what you are sexually attracted to. You can, however, control what you will willingly pursue. I might be heterosexual, but I have the choice to go after men. I do, and that is my belief. And you could argue it either way, but that is simply my belief, and I'm willing to listen to other people's debates about it. I will not condemn a homosexual for behaving accordingly to what he feels or she feels they need to. I really don't. It's not my concern. It's their life. If they want to do that, by all means. If somebody wants to be a smoker, if somebody wants to drink, by all means, go ahead and do that. I won't agree with it, but that's just me. They're not me, I'm not them.
Congratulations, Beastily Eevily! Your shipment of fail has just been delivered for your comparing homosexual relationships to smoking just now.
And alcoholism, but in all things considered, that's not even the point. Her point was that it is the person's choice to either be homosexual or not, as it is for them to choose to drink or smoke. And if drinking and smoking were sins, according to her religion, her God views all sins equally, so the comparison is valid if you consider smoking and alcoholism a sin. Now, if you want my opinion on how I view homosexuality, I do believe it is a choice, but I also believe it is something that can either be taught or born with, depending on who you are and how you were raised. The point that Eevee is trying to make is that although she knows that in her state it is legal for gay couples to be legally married, she's willing to accept it because, as she said...
And I also view that loving the person is more important than the actual action.
Oh, and by the way, it's Beastily Eevee. Say it with me now. Beastily Eevee. Got it? Good.
You say that you love the person but not their sexual orientation if they're gay, like love the sinner but hate the sin. One can use that type of argument against you, including myself. I don't hate you. I only hate your right-wing Christian beliefs. And although you're not very angry that Iowa's legalized gay marriage or picketing, you're still a bigot because you believe that gay people are inferior to you.
And so are you for putting words in her mouth, because that is not what she said. She never stated that homosexuals were beneath her, nor did she ever ridicule them or say that she has done so previously in other videos. She just doesn't agree with their lifestyle. Is that so fucking hard for you to just accept? Really? Some people don't agree with homosexuality, Orion. Welcome to the real world. Now do us all a favor and shut up and deal with it. If people don't agree with homosexuality, that's their right, and you cannot take away that right. Not all right-winged Christians are as you say they are around homosexuals. If you think that all are like the WBC, then oh my dear sweet Jesus in heaven, I hope that you will come to realize soon that they are not, and that your entire quest to shoot them down is utterly pointless.
So, by your definition, my opinion cannot be respected. Yet I am completely willing to listen to your side of the debate. You view science as the end-all be-all. Well, I don't necessarily think that. There are certain aspects of science I don't think at this moment can solve everything. I actually don't think that there are aspects that science can solve. Period. No matter how advanced science can get. This is a debate I get constantly with my stepdad, in the sense of he and I constantly debate over psychology and therapy and medication. I'm a firm believer that medication is not the end-all be-all. If it is a chemically based problem, then yes, medication is needed. However, if it is an emotionally based problem, I think that it can be treated with therapy alone. That is my belief. I don't think that science is the end-all be-all. I think that interactions with human beings and also understanding how human behavior works is key. That's just simply me.
Of course I do not respect your religious opinion on homosexuality, and I do not respect your opinion on science either, Beastily Eevee. You think that science is less worthy than right-wing Christianity, and don't you dare try to deny it, where you say it's not the be-all, end-all, and never will be.
Even though she never once said that science was not worthy. You do realize that she's a psychologist in training, right? Seriously, why else would she be mentioning psychology if she was that kind of right-winged Christian as you claim she is? She said it before in most of her videos that she's an amateur psychologist, aka a scientist for human behavior. And even with that under her belt, you call her a bigot for her beliefs? I can only hold so much pity for you right now. You poor, ignorant, lost little soul.
Your point on you not respecting certain religions is understandable, because by what you say, this particular group that you have no respect for disregard human rights. And that's fine. But completely throwing off this particular group just by one or two vocabulary words that describe them in their political beliefs is, well, it's sort of silly, in my opinion.
I do not respect conservative Christians as a group for their political views, since they use their political influence to pass asinine laws to shove their opinions down people's throats. Whether you want to admit it or not, passing laws to outlaw gay marriage is forcing your homophobic beliefs onto other people.
Please refer to my previous statement at 5 minutes and 24 seconds. Thank you. I will say this, Orion. You do make it a lot easier for me to know where to cut your videos from all the awkward pauses you make, so thanks for that.
It is not silly to bash conservative Christians like you claim. That's just you calling for me to tolerate your bigotry towards gays and your delusions like creationism. And that's not going to happen. Especially since I came onto YouTube to shoot those down.
You know, you remind me of a certain cousin that kind of acts like that when he doesn't want to eat his veggies at the dinner table. But you know what the big difference is between you and him? My cousin is nearly 8 years old and you're in your early 30s.
But let's go back to the point that you like to make oftentimes. You don't respect Abrahamic religions because they infringe upon human rights, or at least the right-wing version. I've just stated to you that I am right-wing. Are you going to disrespect my opinion and disrespect me in general and not listen to what I have to say because I am of that demographic?
Of course I'm not going to respect your religious opinion and listen to what you have to say on the topic of religion, because you are a conservative Christian who is bigoted against homosexuality and is anti-science. You just shown that to me.
And because of that, you are no longer the girl that I shall fap to. Go! Begone! You are nothing to me now!
Let's also consider the fact that it's not just right-wing fundamental Christians. There are right-wing fundamental Muslims. There are right-wing fundamental Jews. There are right-wing fundamental Hindus. There are right-wing fundamental Buddhists.
You got that right and hit the nail on the head for once. Christianity is not the only religion with right-wing fundamentalists, and I already knew that for years. There are also right-wing fundamentalist Muslims, Jews, Hindus, and Buddhists. Right-wing fundamentalism happens in various religions, not limited to any one particular faith. The thing is that Christianity is the religion that I am most familiar with, since I live my whole life in the United States and most of this country is Christian.
So because Christianity is the only other religion you know aside from your belief in atheism, you're only going to hate on Christians and ignore other religions that have the same kind of views. In a sense, yeah, that is pretty silly, Orion. You said it!
Fundamental Wiccas, or atheists, or agnostics. They all might be of that particular category, and they might also be homophobic and racist.
You got that thing right, too, because there are a handful of homophobic atheists, which I've heard of. So let's move on.
That's it? You acknowledge that there are fundamental atheists, but you're not going to say anything about how they're just as wrong as fundamental Christians? And this commentary was brought to you by the word bias!
Are you going to also disrespect them? It goes to the point of what policies you will and will not respect. It's not the person that you really should not be disrespecting, but the policies.
Yet another good point. I should disrespect the policies and not the person. You do realize that there is a difference between respecting people as people and respecting beliefs themselves. I disrespect your beliefs on homosexuality and science, although I respect your well-meaning intentions, and don't necessarily disrespect you, just your beliefs themselves.
Yet, throughout this entire commentary thus far, you've called her a bigot and a retard, and you've shoved words down her throat to make it seem like she's just as nasty of a right-winged Christian as the WBC or any other right-winged Christian you may have unfortunately come across. So, yeah, what was that you said about not judging the person but the policy?
People who are anti-Semitic, I do not agree with their policies. I do not agree with them. That does not mean I will cross them on the street, give them the bird and everything like that, but I'll say, look, I don't believe in that. I don't believe that you should be hating on this particular group of people for whatever reason. I mean, that would be understandable. And it seems you have a grain of salt here with this particular word choice, but you seem to have a fondness with picking on religion. You're atheist, and you know what? That's fine. You're an atheist. You don't believe in God. You believe in science. I do believe in God, but I also believe in science. But I'm not going to go out and say that I will disrespect you because you do not believe in my God. That's not how it works. That's not what the Bible taught me. Love thy neighbor. That's not what we were taught. So in that aspect, maybe it's not the person who you should be disrespecting, but rather the policy. I mean, it's something to consider.
And a note on the hypocrisy of religion itself, not you, Beastily Eevee, just religion itself.
Yeah, I'd rather not have to listen to that again since he references policies from the Old Testament, which to many Christians nowadays is practically considered a history book of how God was to humans at their worst. And believe you me, we did more than just lustful acts back in the day. Anyway, to retort that, at least for Orion's sake, because God knows he's going to say something on it, Christians nowadays follow the New Testament because, well, for me as a Christian, it gives me a sense of the kind of figure that God is supposed to be for this era. Back in the day, yeah, he was pretty scary as a deity, and you didn't want to screw with him, but nowadays, since the era has changed and our view of the world is changing as well as our behaviors and sins, I feel that God is a little bit more of a father figure rather than the police of human beings that he once was. But enough of that. I'm not going to finish the video because it's just rehashing the same things that you've said up to this point. So yeah, Orion, you've pretty much proven to us that when it comes to who gives the critique that you're looking for, you're not going to listen if the person critiquing you is a Christian, or more specifically, a fundamentalist Christian. But here's the thing. Not all right-wing Christians are what you say they are. Yeah, there are some guys that will bang their drums the loudest in that group, but you know what? Not everyone that joins the religion is going to the beat of the same drum. They all have different points of views of how they see God, and yeah, some will try to get others to think that God is who they believe that he is. I'm a Christian. However, I will disagree with some of Eevee's opinion. She's still my little Hellspawn Pokemon because I love her for the person that she is and not for what she believes. And in the end, that's all that truly matters. You can have your views on Christianity, and you can have your love for science. No one's saying that you can't, and no one is saying you're wrong in believing that science is something that can be followed to a certain extent. But your desire to wipe out fundamentalist Christians is going to end in failure since not everyone is going to listen to you. And in fact, you're just as bad when you say that they should not think that homosexuality is a sin and that they are bigots for believing that. So go ahead. Make your video response to this commentary. Because FYI, this will be my only video on you. And if you should make a video response to this, know that I'll be sitting laughing my ass off while you prove us all right and make yourself look like a fool.
So, hey guys. So, if you couldn't tell by the title already, I saw the video, me, and I hate it. I'm sorry. I know it's like anime, that kind of stuff, but I love anime. Okay, I love anime. It's amazing.
Hey, can you tell I'm pissed yet? I'm so pissed, guys. Can't you tell?
By the way, I turned out the volume on his video because he's quiet as fuck. You're welcome.
But I'm not talking. But there is a type of anime. Yeah, anime has types. And it's called Moe. Moe anime is like the stereotypical anime. Big boobs, happy, cheerful, playful, that kind of stuff. I hate it. Because... jeez. It is horrible.
Okay, so you don't like Moe. Great, fantastic. Why is it horrible? At least with people like Gaijin Goomba, I can get an honest-to-God reason why he doesn't like Moe. I'm also going to be making reference to GG a lot, so, I'm sorry!
Me. It starts out with us going into the protagonist's room, and it's Hikikomori Otaku. I'm pretty sure you guys know what an otaku is, but Hikikomori, that's the one where, that's the type where it's like anime, video games.
Okay, first off, thank you for using the correct term to describe Shu in the Me video, but you're describing it wrong. The Hikikomori Otaku is what you would typically see as the Shonen Otaku, who surround themselves with things that make them feel good. Some never leave their room or even socialize. Gigi describes it in more detail, so I'll leave his video in the description.
I'm not Hikikomori. I love anime, I love video games. I am a nerd. And, yeah. So, one sec. And with that, it's a hard topic for me, guys. I'm sorry if I'm quiet for a lot of this video. So, they start out happy, cheerful, and playful like the J-pop industry. I hate that too. It convinces guys that they love them. They don't love them. Okay? If you like J-pop, stop watching this video. Unsubscribe from my channel.
And we can see how well that turned out, didn't it?
If you like J-pop. Okay? I hate J-pop. I don't want anything to do with it. This is probably gonna be the only time I talk about J-pop. Blah. So yeah. McDonald's. Love it. I hate. Okay, I just hate it. It sucks. Our protagonist, he's been completely drawn from the world. And he broke up with his ex just so that way he can do all this stuff. I mean, like, before me and my ex broke up, I watched anime, played video games, did plastic models. I mean, like, over there somewhere, I have a Batman model. A freaking Batmobile model. Yeah. So, and she was completely cool with that. She was cool with me liking anime, that kind of stuff, because she knew the type of anime that I watched. I didn't watch Moe. No, I hated Moe. I hate Moe. I always have. I always will. Instead, the type of anime I watch, it's like Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, Death Note, Full Metal Alchemist, One Piece, that kind of stuff. It's
funny because there's Moe in those anime too. Don't believe me? Bulma from Dragon Ball, Misabane from Death Note, Nami from One Piece. I bet you that any action anime that you list off has at least one character or one event that screams Moe.
That's not the kind that I watch. That's the kind that I watch. Not Moe. I don't even know any Moe, any of it.
Wait, so you mean to say you don't know any Moe anime? Okay, one, let me introduce you then to a successful little animation studio called Kyoto Animation. Two, how can you not like something when you haven't seen it yet? I made the same assumption that I wasn't gonna like Madoka Magica because it was a magical girl anime, one of my least favorite anime genres. And after watching the show, it is now in my top 10 list of favorite anime. No, I'm not gonna make a top 10 favorite anime list because I don't feel like making one, so get off my ass.
So yeah, I think I'm just gonna end you off with that. Don't watch Me. I swear. You will hate it. Well, if you're into that kind of stuff. If you are in... sorry. Something in my eyes. If you're into... If you are into hentai, then watch it.
Hold on, what does hentai have to do with anything? I thought we were talking about Moe. You do realize that Moe and hentai are two completely different genres of anime, right?
Just do me a favor and never, ever watch it again. Please. Okay? Thank you.
So, in summation, I hate this video because it has Moe and I don't like Moe! Even though that was the point of the AMV. There was supposed to be Moe bouncing off the walls because it's to make a point about the hikikomori otaku lifestyle and how dangerous and addicting it can be. If you can't get past the big boobs, the cutesy atmosphere, and J-pop to understand what message the AMV was trying to convey, then clearly, you censor yourself far too much to even comprehend the deeper concepts in art like this. Yes! Me is art! I said it! Also, scripting and editing, you need that desperately.
Man, what's up, motherfuckers? Midnight Phantom here. Hey, this is going to be my first, and I would say probably a 50% chance that this is going to be my last commentary ever. I generally don't like the style of video, just period, so, I'm only doing it this once. There's a very high chance I'm only doing it just this once, so enjoy.
Annoying intro is annoying! Seriously, would you really want to sit through some crappy footage of games and him just standing there all awkward and looking like he's gotta take a wee-wee while the screen constantly goes in and out? Yeah, fuck that shit!
Is directed towards a video that was made in response to my Little Pony Brony rant by Blaze and Rants. Her video is entirely based on a commentary of me. I've seen plenty of commentaries before, and you know, even though she's talking mad shit about me and is completely obscuring my point just for her own viewing benefit, I can't help but say that I'm a little bit flattered that I am noticed enough to get a commentary.
Blazin' Senpai noticed me! My life has now gone from an obscure user on the internet to a somewhat not so obscure user on the internet. I could die happy now! Oh my god!
Well, anyways, let's fucking fill up this cesspool, shall we?
No. Let's try something a bit different.
You almost got the introduction right. I would say that you got two things wrong. One, the music is slightly off. Was that Slash with Miles Kennedy or Alter Bridge? Either way, get some new metal or something on there and you got the music that sums me up perfectly.
Even though that wasn't the point of the intro song, it was not meant to describe you. It was meant to pump people up for what's to come. Gosh, not everything is about you!
Second thing is the title of your rant. You're making me sound like one of those irrational little squeakers saying, "Ooh, My Little Pony is gay. They're for girls, boys like them, therefore they're gay." When that's not what I'm doing in my video. All I'm doing in my video is pointing out an inconvenient truth and stating how crazy and psychotic their fan base is.
She hasn't even started debating you, and you're already shutting her down, saying that she's committed a straw man fallacy. Jesus, dude, we haven't even gotten past the intro yet! Calm your man titties!
There we go. Now before I get started, I feel like I should mention a few things. One, I've never watched any episode of My Little Pony. Two, I'm not a huge fan of the concept of the show, however, I am aware that there are people who like that kind of thing, and that's fine. Number 3, I'm only going to be talking about the topic of the video, which is the Brony fanbase, so don't go assuming that I know shit about the show.
I believe you when you say you might not have watched the show, but I call bullshit on your statement that you don't have any interest in the fan community, because you see, any other person who watched my video you went into my video with animosity, okay? That's the fucking reason you took the effort to make a commentary saying how I'm supposedly wrong and bronies are okay in being crazy and psychotic. Okay? So don't you fucking... That's the first lie or misrepresentation presented in this video.
Ignoring the whole, this big beauty on the internet did a video on me. You're right in the fact that you could not be a fan of the franchise and yet show a little bit of interest in its fan base, but that wasn't the point of Blaze's statement. While she may care enough about the fan base to defend it, that doesn't entirely mean that she knows everything about it or the show that these guys are a fan of. What indication in that statement gave you the idea that she was lying to you on that?
Having said that, let's start this.
What's up, motherfuckers? Midnight Phantom here.
I am so edgy, you guys.
I wasn't trying to be edgy. That's a staple in my videos, okay? Sort of like an introduction, though I have an intro now, and at the time when I started doing that, I didn't. But either way, I don't. The only reason that she brought that up is because she didn't like it, and she didn't have anything negative to say about it, so she's just pulling a random criticism out of her ass.
Okay, first of all,
oh my god, it's called a joke, stupid.
Secondly, the staple or intro that you had made you look like you were trying way too hard to be cool. Not only that, but if I could add to what she meant, the intro was very disjointed in your tone. Here, listen. What's up, motherfuckers? Midnight Phantom here. Today I'm gonna be ranting about bronies. You see what I mean?
Today I'm going to be ranting about something that might have been considered beating an old horse if this were anything else.
I know I'm cutting him off for a bit, but there are going to be points in the video where the screen just glitches and goes black.
The only part of the video that I'm going to give you points on, even though I probably shouldn't, if I didn't give you any points and I just kept taking away scores, your score would be so negative that it'd be unfair, because I could tell you got some brain cells working inside your fucking head. But see, it's my camera. See, this is not the camera I use, but see, I use, if you could see in the reflection there, I use a PlayStation Vita to record my video quality, and in transferring onto the computer, sometimes it has a little bit of a split-second glitch, where when the video begins, in cutting and editing the videos together, the frame will be sort of degraded, and it'll cause that effect. So that's just an error, and I don't really know what I can do to fix that. But again, that should have no relevance on the point that I'm making.
I didn't know commentaries could be scored. Well, unless we're going by Aladdin's old commentators under review videos. But in all seriousness, while I'm glad that there is an explanation to the camera glitches, you conveniently cut off Blaze saying that the video was like that in the original video, and saying that there was nothing wrong with the viewer's computer or YouTube's playback system in general. It was to let people know that your camera quality was absolute shit, and while yes, it has no relevance to the topic at hand, it was another disclaimer just because there's this little thing called what was it? Oh yeah. Being considerate to your audience!
Considering that this topic is still current and fairly relevant amongst the internet users, I can consider this relevant, most people can consider this relevant, and it sure as hell is not going away. Sure as hell is not gone away anytime soon, since it came out like 5 years ago. Today I'm going to be talking about bronies.
Frankly, I don't see why the topic should be relevant at all. From what I understand, yeah, there was a time where the fan base was a bit pushy. However, over the past few years, it's calmed down quite a bit. Then when the show came out in 2010, a lot of people saw the need to talk shit about the bronies, about what they are and what they aren't. I guess my point is that it's been over 5 years. A whole crap ton of things can change about a fan base during the course of over 5 years.
Fucking sped through why I told you the topic is relevant, okay? The fan base may be 5 years old, but believe me, I've been around YouTube a lot longer than 5 fucking years. I remember when bronies started coming around, and I'm gonna also call bullshit on that point. You're saying that they were worse back then. No, if anything, they're worse now, because I fucking remember being on YouTube back in 2010 when the fan base started, okay? I would see them on, like, maybe a few people's account icons, but there was not nearly as bad of an issue then with their fucking irrational hate spamming and all their stupid fucking psychotic Pinkie Pie shit. So that's a freaking first lie right there. And if you don't fucking believe me, just look up their fan base. I don't even feel like I should be debating this for you. If you did any research for yourself at all, you would realize how full of shit that statement is.
What part of the internet did you live on? I feel like you've just now discovered that there were bad apples in the fan base. No, stop. Not that bad apple! And she's not lying when she says that a fan base can change over time, or unless you're talking about the Sonic fan base, in which case you would be right, but bronies express a lot more tolerance and changes in the show than Sonic fantards do in gameplay changes. Plus, you're talking about an experience that you had around 2010. It's 2015 now. What experience have you had this year that indicated that the bronies have not changed? Oh, and she sped up your rant because you have a tendency to take a long-ass time in saying what you want to say. Hey, convenience? What the fuck is that?
I'm gonna make a disclaimer right here. I'm talking specifically to bronies. If you watch My Little Pony, and you're fine with the show, but you are not a brony, because I'm gonna tell you what a brony is right now. A brony is somebody who is up in your face about them watching My Little Pony. They treat it like it's religion or something.
No. A brony is a term that refers to a male fan or viewer of the MLP show or franchise. You seem to have a misconception over the term itself, seeing as how you misuse the term by using it to describe the crazy minority of the fan base.
Goddamn well what the definition of a brony is. I'm speaking based on what their actions show, not based on the defined definition. Wow! That's the main fucking point of this video, and you're too fucking stupid to even understand that. And there's fucking 11 more minutes to go, people. The shit train is not stopped yet, and is not even close to stopping.
Way to pull off the tough guy act. You are clearly not one to be meddled with. And you're still completely generalizing Bronies, practically saying that the minority's actions are the equivalent to the entire fandom's, which is completely and utterly retarded. And yes, people, we have a 3-parter. So I'll save you all the headaches and skip a bit to the part where he left off. But before I do, I have a big question. Why are you putting the commentary into 3 parts? Not saying that you can't or shouldn't, but I'm mainly wondering why that is.
If you're a dude or a girl, well, I mean, girls are technically considered Pegasisters when they watch My Little Pony, but if you're a girl or a boy who watches My Little Pony and is not a Brony or Pegasister, then this does not apply to you, because you are not part of the problem that I'm addressing.
Again with the misusage of terms. Pegasister and Brony are terms used to describe a fan base, not a minority of said fan base. I feel the need to hammer this in because, again, the way you use the terms makes me think that you're trying to describe a minority.
The way it's not a minority. It's basically anybody who calls themselves a brony does this. Like I also said in my video, if you just watch the show, you're cool with it, you like the art maybe and maybe the concept of it, but you don't get pissed off at people when they tell you that you don't like it as well. That makes them not a brony.
Hey hun, you watch MLP, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you a brony?
Yep.
Well then, why aren't you shoving your love of the show down my throat?
Oh. Because I'm not an asshole.
Midnight Phantom, you are a misinformed dickwaffle. And yes, Ryan, I did just learn that those things exist. Here's a picture.
There's plenty of people who call themselves bronies, but by my definition, and what I was trying to point out in the video, are not bronies. So shut up.
Your definition of brony is completely inept.
I
Get
know
over yourself,
totally
please.
could've
Thank
said
you.
Something better than shut up. God fucking damn it, you pissed me off. Okay, first things first with the bronies. They are out of control when it comes to fan bases. I'm not gonna be a hypocrite here. I am an open bisexual, and I wouldn't say I'm an open furry, but I definitely would say that I'm kind of a furry.
Okay. But sexuality isn't a fan base. I get where you're trying to go with the comparison, but it's still a really dumb comparison to make. Dude, you would have been better off just comparing the furry fandom to the brony fandom, and it would make more sense. I mean, you do realize that you are now comparing sexuality to a fan base that likes
Comparing sexuality to My Little Pony. Okay, there's again another point that you're strawmanning just to help your argument succeed more, okay?
Your statement on you saying that you were a furry had no relevance to the topic at hand. And that's not a straw man fallacy that she's committing. What you're doing now is what you say that she's doing. Look in a mirror and cut that goddamn hair, bruh. You need to start over.
Firstly, about the bisexuality, the brony fan base is notorious for bringing up the, oh, you hate gay people, or, oh, you're just closed-minded. So I was shooting that out of the air before it became a problem. Of course, you're gonna go and fucking take it and try and say, oh, you're gonna compare the fan base to sexuality. And secondly, the reason that I stated that I was a furry is because if I didn't state that I was a furry, then I would have left a gigantic elephant in the room about how I'm talking about the My Little Pony fan base and how they're on the deep part of the web, yet I am still a furry, and I make art on my DeviantArt page, which is linked on my YouTube channel.
The statement wasn't needed because even if that was the case with the brony fan base, nobody cares? Though I will say that I'm slightly curious about your DA page, so let's take a look-see. Yeah, let's just pretend I didn't see that, shall we?
The thing that I would say is different about that is I don't go around shoving my opinions down other people's throat like Bronies do. Bronies shove their fucking ponies into everyone else's face and say, "Look, you look at me, look at Rainbow Dash, blah blah blah," and then when you say, "Dude, what the hell you do?" and get that shit out of my face because I don't want to fucking see that, they get all offended as if you just made an insult to them because you don't have the same fucking likes.
How would they know if you don't have the same interests without bringing it up?
Dude, to get that fucking shit out of my face. That was a bit of a hyperbole, but I'm pretty sure that if you started trying to find deeper meaning...
There was a deeper meaning to that statement? Well, fuck me sideways! I guess I just completely missed it! I might as well turn in my commentating card since you apparently... Wait, I'm good? He's just an idiot that's arguing for the sake of arguing? Yeah? Okay, we're good.
Try and shove my personal views down their throat. That's why people can tolerate my views,
I don't shove my opinions down other people's throat, even though that is exactly what I'm doing in the video.
Not shoving my opinion down their throat.
Yeah, you are. Now shut the fuck up.
Halfway in the video, it's very obvious what the biggest problem with this commentary is. This person only looks for one-dimensional meanings for their argument. Basically what I mean by that is that they hear something one way, but they don't try and think of a deeper meaning to what that means. That's basically what my entire video is about, and what most of my videos are about. They're about a deeper established meaning behind the sentences. I mean, my sentences mean more than one thing.
How the hell is she supposed to know that? She's not a subscriber, and from what I saw of the comment section of that particular video, it didn't seem like they knew that either. How are they supposed to know? I could easily say that what you're saying now is an excuse just so that you have a counter argument to Blaze's counter arguments, which is likely. However, since I'm a nice person, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt and say that you're trying way too hard to be deep and intellectual, and you end up falling flat on your face with this so-called deeper meanings that you claim to have in your original video. Or I could be a total bitch and just call you a tryhard. Yeah, that sounds more fun.
Other fan bases don't do that. I mean, Blackville Bride's fan base does. No, I don't smoke it no more. Didn't skip my point because we're not talking about Blackville Brides. You skipped my point because I made a very good and valid argument there.
That was pretty much what you just said. That wasn't her real reason. You know, it's okay to be wrong every once in a while, right?
Logical fallacies in their arguments. They'll just come straight. Most of them just come straight to your comment section and say, "Oh, you don't like ponies? Fuck you, motherfucker, you're losing." And it's just like, they're not even trying. Like, holy fucking shit.
I find the irony in this to be absolutely astounding, especially when other people, including myself, called you out about the logical fallacies in your video, which for the most part you completely ignored. When I responded to a comment that you made, you thought to respond with strawman arguments and accused me of not watching the video entirely before responding to your comment.
You didn't watch the video entirely. Maybe you did watch the video entirely the first time. I don't give a shit. You sure as hell didn't think too hard about it. That's pretty fucking sure.
She did. And if you don't give a shit about this part, why are you complaining? Hell, backtracking to an earlier statement you made about how you said you feel that you shouldn't be debating on this entire subject, then why is this entire video in my presence?
So try turning the mirror on yourself before you start calling other kettles black. Okay?
These people are like the Craft Nation fans of all deep internet fandoms. It's fucking ridiculous, these people. Notice how I said deep internet fandom? That's because when you really get down to what a lot of the bronies do, this is not a normal fandom, people. This is like, I don't know, there's like the story Cupcakes. It's all about when you really get down to the fandom, like, that gets super fucking creepy, and you don't even need to go diving that deep into it. You get freaking, you just research it, you're gonna find some of that creepy shit.
I'd like to know what kind of research you did, because when I looked up the term brony, the first page that showed up had definitions for brony, a site for the brony fandom, a Wikipedia page on the MLP fanbase in general, and then I found sites making fun of bronies or making memes out of them. For
The same thing you did. I looked up, quote, My Little Pony brony. And most of the suggested results were exactly what you just fucking said. Fan pages that posted creepy shit and all that fucking other nonsense.
To quote a special little Antichrist jackal, citation needed. This could be said for you too, Blaze, though Mr. Edgy McTryhard needs it more than you do.
People have exaggerated Pinkie Pie. I think she has ADHD. Like, I think that's what they officially say, but I don't know. But anyway, she's just super hyper, and yes, I've seen the show. Do not even dare comment that, oh, you need to see the show in order to understand the love and the magic. No, I've seen the show, and I don't fucking get what you people are talking about. But anyway, Pinkie Pie, this pony, is just super hyperactive. But, yeah, a bunch of people in the fan base take that and make her into some psychotic killer that murders all her friends. Like, that's fucking cannibal, freaking fucked up shit right there. It's also creepy pasta shit right there. Seriously though, if people draw the character as such, then that is the artist's interpretation of said character. Some people can look at a pony and think of a crazy bloody pony, and some people can look at a cute baby handicap and see a psychotic crazy ass handicap with switchblades and yeah, I drew that. I was bored, okay? A very common argument used by bronies is that, oh, the show is intended for everybody. It doesn't fucking matter. The target audience is 7-year-old girls. Do not even tell me that it is not the target audience. It is a show about fucking rainbow ponies. Come the fuck on, people. Even though it's targeted towards a specific demographic, it doesn't mean that other people can't watch it. Hence why those people might say it's for everyone. It's like anime. America is not their target demographic. Yet Americans watch anime anyway. Do you see what I mean here?
Of all, imagine if it were any other show besides My Little Pony. If it were a group of people getting together and watching, I don't know, some Barbie show? Or how about the Care Bears movies back from the 80s? How about a group of men in their early 20s getting together and watching that? You seriously wouldn't tell me that's fucking weird?
Weird? Yeah, maybe, but it still doesn't disprove her point.
Second of all, the animes in America are I don't agree with this. I agree with artistic freedom, but they Americanize the fuck out of the animes that come over to the States.
Okay, some anime they do, yeah, but this doesn't mean that overall anime is targeted towards everyone. Pokemon is a prime example. It's an anime that was marketed towards children in Japan, then all children around the world, and now it's for everyone because a lot of people on this planet love Pokemon. MLP isn't on the same level, but the concept of the demographic is still the same. Though it is unlikely that this will get through your skull, so I'm just gonna keep playing my Klonoa games until you get the idea. Oh, fuck you, Garland, you stupid piece of...
You know what else I feel that a lot of people don't bring up in their arguments? I think that the reason that bronies get so defensive in their arguments is because they know how freaking retarded and stupid their fucking show is. If they didn't think that they were in the wrong deep down inside, they wouldn't have a special name for themselves. I highly doubt that's why they get so defensive. Maybe it's because a lot of bronies are fucking sick and tired of automatically being associated with the stereotype of wanting to fuck ponies and obsessing over ponies. They, like most fan bases, have a name for themselves for the sake of having an identity that separates themselves from other fan bases. The Mario fans don't call themselves anything special. Freaking, I don't think Barbie fans call themselves something special. So why would bronies call themselves something special? I'll tell you why. It's all about preaching to the gospel. It's all about identity. They freaking know that they can't like that show just based on saying, oh, I'm a My Little Pony fan, I love that My Little Pony. So they know how ridiculous and stupid their little fucking fruity fandom is, so they gotta call themselves something special. They gotta give a special name to themselves in order to feel justified in watching it. Again, this isn't about justifying their interest. They have a name in order to identify themselves and to safely say, hey, I belong to this said group. Really? Well, let's look at the Mario fan base, huh? Okay, how about Mega Man? Mega Man fan base. Or how about that one show, Courage the Cowardly Dog?
Okay, seriously, who cares whether a fan base has a name or not? Brony, monster, bro, who gives a shit? Whether the fan base has a name or not doesn't matter. Like I said in my commentary on Darcy, the hobby isn't what makes the person. I've got friends that are bronies and they are pretty cool and creative people. And you putting them onto this one little bundle of bullshit that you claim to see all the time, I'm not gonna lie, it's made some of them roll their eyes when you claim this shit and not even know a single fucking thing about them as a fan base. You know what? I bet one of your friends is a brony or Pegasister, and they don't say anything around you because they know that you hate them for the most stupidest of reasons, and they don't want to be put into that same bundle that you always put every other brony. Didn't think about that one now, did ya?
Like I said, people, if you're just a neutral fan of My Little Pony who just watches the show and keeps it to themselves...
We don't talk about bronies. Don't ask, don't tell.
Goddamn well, that's not what I meant by saying keep it to themselves.
You came off like you said that, and therefore that's how Blaze processed the statement. You're not very good at basic social skills, are you?
And I'm strawmanning the argument. Holy fucking shit. And you are one of the biggest hypocrites I've ever seen on YouTube.
Look at a goddamn mirror and shut the fuck up.
And whatever friends they have, all the power to you. I'm perfectly fine with people like you. In fact, you should give yourself a pat on the back for being a positive example out of the fucking 98% that aren't any good. But the fact of the matter is, there's still that 98%, and that's the overwhelming majority of bronies.
98%? Well, golly gee whiz, it sure brings me great comfort when you can provide proof of such a statistic. What's this? You can't? You just pulled that out of your ass? Then don't give it to me, hell, that's nasty.
It's just a hyperbole, an exaggeration. Okay? If you could think beyond this one-dimensional plane of thought that you are clearly on, then you would realize that, okay?
Okay, so let's pretend for a minute that I actually believe what you said had a deeper meaning and what you said was in fact not meant to be taken at face value. If you knew that it was an exaggeration, then why not provide some real statistics on how much shit is actually in the brony fandom? You can't expect people to just take your word for it and know what you mean right off the fucking bat. Not everyone thinks like you do, you narcissistic sack of deteriorating sperm!
This is such a fucking popular trend nowadays, guys. It's serious. Anyway, I'm just gonna leave a disclaimer in this one because my last rant. Please, if you don't have an intelligent argument to make, do not leave me a fucking comment, because you will probably be blocked and your comment will be removed. And you could be saying, oh, well, that's a pussy thing to do. No, because those freaking annoying-ass stupid troll comments, or just stupid comments in general, totally ruin the fucking video for everybody else. And that's just totally, it's bullshit, okay? It's fucking bullshit. And I didn't tolerate it in my Black Moon Bride rant, and I'm not tolerating it here. If you want to have a debate in the comments with me, that's fine. Because, honestly, I love intellectual discussion. I like being enlightened, and I like enlightening some people. So if you want to debate me, then go ahead. But if you got nothing more than a bunch of stupid shit that everyone's already heard before, or I don't fucking want to hear because of how freaking hateful and stupid it is, then fuck off, or whatever. I don't care. Just don't leave your stupid ass comment.
So then what happens if somebody does provide an intelligent discussion in the comment section? Oh.
An intelligent discussion. You strawmanned my argument, so I told you what was wrong with you saying that. Okay, and now you're telling me that I'm shooting down intellectual discussion? Okay, so it's only intellectual discussion if you agree with it.
I know you don't believe me, but the way I see it. Next time you point a finger, I might have to bend it back and break it off. Next time you point a finger, I'll point you to the mirror.
Oh boy, guys, I'll tell you this right now. This isn't gonna stop me from making rants, but this is the reason that I despise commentaries, is because these people don't give a shit about what you really think. They only care about pointing out things that you've done wrong to appeal to a majority. Have you ever noticed that? It's always the fucking there's no such thing as a commentary that appeals to a minority. It's always the commentaries on YouTube. They are only directed towards a popular point of view, or just a generally accepted way of thinking.
I could actually say that there are some commentators that have unpopular opinions and not really get flacked as much for it, or at least as far as I know. Ryan Mills, Zerarik, Ponder Sprocket, and including myself. Wait, what was my unpopular opinion? That Sword Art Online was a shitty anime? Oh, fuck you too!
That's the reason why this commentary was even made to begin with, and that's probably the reason why it's so positively critiqued, is because it's targeted towards a generally popular way of thinking, and it's just, yeah, guys, she doesn't give a shit about correcting me. She only wants fucking views, and she only wants you guys to like the video. I mean, I don't know that.
And yet you act like you do throughout this entire 3-parter response commentary. And if you didn't know or care, then again, let me ask you, what was the point in even making this commentary? And here's the difference between your opinion and hers. Yours was based on assumptions and exaggerations that you didn't even prove to be fact, while Blaze has pretty much done the exact opposite. And even if she was just doing this whole commentary thing for views, it shows that she put in a lot more effort than you did in that regard. So if nothing else, she succeeded. So in summation, Midnight Phantom's commentary was really uninformed and retarded, and while I feel that Blaze needed to put more funny in her commentary on him, it was overall okay.
So in today's commentary, we're gonna take another look at—
Man, what's up, motherfuckers?
Okay, I know what most of you might be thinking. Why do this? Well, due to his more recent actions and some of the info we dug up, we decided that this was actually quite necessary, especially after seeing that letting him be actually made him spawn a whole new set of issues to tackle. We'll try to address those as well, but right now let's take a look at the response he made to Scarlet.
What's up, motherfuckers? Midnight Phantom here, and today I'm responding to the commentary made about me by Scarlet Otaku. This video is the worst. She at least she didn't say the same thing that Son of Ifrit and Blaze and Rants said about me. Because if that were the case, I just wouldn't have made this video. I would have had the other videos speak for themselves.
What was it that I said that was different from what Blaze and Son of Ifrit said? If it was mainly me being a bitch instead of being all mellow like those two, then, bruh, allow me to introduce myself. I am known as the bitch with a cannon around here, so don't expect me to be all rainbows and sunshine with you all the fucking time.
Actually, the problem that I think most people have with your content is that you tend to misrepresent yourself a lot. What do I mean by that? Well, for one, you tend to change the already established definitions of words and replace them with your own without even bringing up a reason for it, which we can clearly see in your rant on Bronies. You can't change the pre-established and/or popular definitions of words, confuse the audience with a new definition, and then blame them for not understanding what you're trying to say, especially when you're speaking in the literal sense. So, basically, you misrepresented your own arguments.
Didn't you claim Blaze and Son of Ifrit of doing the same thing? How was my video different again? And to quote one of my favorite anime reviewers, I didn't trash talk you. You trash talked yourself.
This video annoys the shit out of me. You know why it annoys the shit out of me? Is because she's doing the same thing as everyone else on YouTube is, except she's misrepresenting my arguments to make me seem like I'm an irrational, egotistical jackass. Egotistical might be correct, okay? I like I said in my Son of Ifrit response, I think highly of myself because of my worldview, but spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock. You know what? You guys just otakus. You otakus just fucking piss me off. You guys are the biggest condescending idiots on the face of fucking internet. You know that?
Whoa. Are you using me as an advocate to stereotype otakus? Shit, I wasn't prepared for this. This is such an honor. I mean, I feel so undeserving of such a position, and yet I feel so grateful.
Chill, Scarlet. Let's try to look at this from his perspective.
Bronies and weeds, those fucking otakus, expressing their views, and I think to myself, how you must fucking hate me.
Well, that was weird.
Wasn't it?
You guys think you're so fucking smart, but in reality, if you really sit down and listen to yourself from the point of view of anyone else who's not sitting there just being your yes people, your yes men, blindly agreeing to everything you say, just while you're running your mouth, they're just going, you got it. You got it, girl. Yeah. That's basically all your fans are. They're just a bunch of blindly nodding yes men who only sit. They do not critically think for themselves.
Here's why people agreed with Blaze in the beginning. She took the time and effort to research and provide proof of her statements, including the fallacies that you made against her and numerous other people, and show them in her video. She didn't twist your words into making people think that you were this egotistical douchebag like you said that she did. You provided no proof in your statements, and only asked that we take your word and completely trust you, because it totes happened, man! It's like getting a pop-up on certain sites saying that you want a new PlayStation 4. Would you really trust that pop-up right off the bat?
It's kind of interesting that you claim that our audience is nothing more than a bunch of yes men who blindly follow our views. If that's the case, then I have a question. The video I commentated on already had the ratings disabled when I first saw it. Are we to assume that's the fault of our yes men? Also, do you not understand the whole concept of expressing your opinions on YouTube? I can't believe I'm going to say this for the umpteenth time. When you post a video on a public site like YouTube with a very large audience, you have to acknowledge that not everyone is going to agree with you, even if they do know what you're saying. So they, like everyone else on the site, have the right to voice their own opinions, even if it's something you disagree with. It's also funny that you claim our audience blindly follows us and what we say. If that's the case, then answer this. Why do we put the original videos we're commentating on in the description? I'll tell you why. Because any commentator worth their salt will always make sure that the audience has access to the uncut original so that they can view it and form their own decisions and their own opinions on the matter. You claim that, and yet in the descriptions of all 3 parts of your commentary on me, you couldn't be bothered to do that. Not to mention how in the video you cut off my points in several places, or just remove them altogether without even mentioning why. So if you want to talk about how we are misrepresenting you, and that our yes men follow us blindly without looking at the other's argument, then I'm afraid I'm going to have to shoot that one down right now.
They only fucking listen to you because you said it. If they actually thought about it for themselves, because I read the geniuses in your comments. Let's see, this motherfucker, Borge Productions. I'm taking the Brony fan base out of context. No, I'm motherfucking not. You're taking my argument out of context. I'm not saying it, Bronies are freaking what I said there. I'm saying...
Exactly the point! You didn't specify clearly what you originally meant, and therefore people misunderstood what you were trying to say. Do you fucking hear yourself?
That actually was kind of a funny, ironic statement, but... But you know what I mean. Come on.
No, we don't. That's the point.
Wow, even when you say it to yourself out loud, it still flies completely over your head.
Okay, I'm not saying that all bronies are just a bunch of people that sit around at their computer making brony art. I'm saying that freaking the people that just watch the TV shows and are moderate fans of My Little Pony shouldn't be calling themselves bronies just because of the stigma, okay?
What if they want to call themselves bronies because they feel they are a part of that fandom? Don't they at least have the right to say that? Or are you revoking their right to call themselves whatever the fuck they want?
That's basically what I was saying in my video, and you guys have made it out to be this incriminating war, like I'm creating a war against ponies.
Alright, gents! You see this pothead here? This is our target. He has declared war on all bronies and pig sisters, saying that we're out of control and that we're sick in the head. I know that some of you are, but that doesn't make you any less than what you are. And with my rule as General Asperger's, we will win this war with our manes held high, or we shall die trying!
It's a fucking E-war. We're picking E-shrapnel out of our E-asses and sending these E-missiles and having E-flamethrowers and flaming people's channels because it's a war.
Please, you totally ruined the moment!
I couldn't help it. That clip just fits so well for this.
And you use this freaking... You know what? When I do call it a smear campaign, I mean more specifically the language you use to describe what I'm doing. And believe it or not, this does have a big effect on your argument, okay?
It also has a big effect on yours. What's your point?
Psst, that's a rhetorical question, by the way. You don't really have to answer that one.
Because Scarlet Otaku particularly is pretty bad about this. She uses phrases and words to sort of create a negative connotation to anything that I am saying, and in reality, I'm
Sparty Kid!
Well, since you seem to be lost in your train of thought, then let me explain something to you. The only one who set a negative connotation up for anyone is you setting a negative connotation on yourself, whether it be by comments or in your video. Hell, even if you were to claim that it was only because people disagreed with you because of my video, then let's use an example from a month before I even knew of your YouTube existence. You made a Black Veil Bride rant, and even though a lot of people disagreed with you, some of them did disagree in a polite manner. However, instead of debating her point, which I found to be somewhat flawed in her first comment, you instead decided to throw personal attacks on her and said some pretty hateful shit towards her for no fucking reason. Or what about the video you made where you wished death on people for their differing opinions? So again, if anybody set a negative connotation on anybody, it was you setting a negative connotation on yourself through your own actions.
And then, yeah, there's people saying, you're saying that I'm the irrational one. Oh, so you're doing the second flag policy?
Yeah, what the fuck is a second flag policy? I mean, first I hear that opinions can be plagiarized, and now I learn that there's a new fallacy that I'm supposed to be made aware of. I can't keep track of all this, I swear to God!
Yo, Scar, it's fine. Just add that to the pile of fallacies waiting to be made into Frozen parody songs.
Do you want to build a straw man?
Where, if the second person responds, they only pay attention, they only pay attention to the second person, they never pay attention to the first person.
Wouldn't that be considered straw manning if that's what the definition is? You know what? How about you learn what the definition is to words that you want to use, and learn how to use them properly before you say them.
Just because the English language and grammar has taken more beatings than Rihanna and Tina Turner put together, that doesn't mean that you should contribute to it.
That's exactly what this whole thing is. It's just a result of the second flag policy, a result of a bunch of mindless fans freaking being stupid. And I'm sorry, I'm reading the comments right now to kind of help me with my video.
Will shock your soul, seal your doom tonight. Spooky, scary skeletons speak with such a screech.
You know what? I'm done. Like I said, I threw in the towel with this whole blazing rants thing.
He says while still having 4 minutes of video left.
Calm down. It's gonna be okay.
No, it's not okay.
It is too much.
It's not okay.
With such a screech, you'll shake and shudder in surprise when you...
You people are nothing more than a bunch of irrational... You know what? I'm tired of using the words irrational, straw man fallacy, straw man argument, one-dimensional point of view, and twisting my words.
Honestly, I didn't even want to get involved with you anymore after the actions you displayed in your response to me. The only reason why people are still on your case about it is because you keep bringing the shit up. Hell, you even bring it up in videos completely unrelated to us.
Hey, you know, if you want to be done with this whole thing and stop using these words that you constantly misuse throughout the entire argument, then why not stop making video responses? Even if you're gonna take in what the other side of the debate said, you can still move on and ignore and continue doing what you're doing despite what other people say about you.
You know what? I'm tired of using those phrases, but the matter of fact is that you guys do this, and you guys are like the worst about this. You're twisting my words. You're doing all of it. Okay?
Of course, blame everything and everyone else for it. Totally not the fault of poor clarification, lack of evidence to support so-called facts. the poor attitude displayed. Yeah, I know he claims that it's a character, but when the line between your character and the actual you is blurred to a point where it practically doesn't exist, then you can't really blame others for not knowing, now can you?
Oh yes, the blame is all on us because we're always wrong and you're always right, and we twist those words around because we want to make it seem like you're wrong just so that we can get all damn popularity, bruh!
I'm so tired of using these words that I'm getting a pain in my chest. That's how tired I am of using these words. But every time I use one, I get another pain in my chest. But fucking, you people, you know what is so fucking horrible about you people? You guys claim that I'm living by a gigantic double standard. Well, every time I make a commentary, every time I comment, you guys automatically blast me for being irrational, but in reality, you poked me first, I'm just poking you back, motherfucker. That's how the world works, okay?
First of all, no, when you express your opinion publicly, then you better expect other people to disagree and or criticize the opinion whether you like it or not. That is how the world works. I can't make a commentary on a video that never existed publicly. You posted it, and people disagreed. In real life, people don't act this immature over something so fucking trivial. If that's the way you think the world works, then there's so much more that should have been explained to you.
It would be so much better to ignore it if anything else. If we're such irrational and ignorant people, then why waste your time on us? Why waste your time on people whom are apparently not going to listen to reason? I know the same could be said for him, but to be quite honest, his responses are kind of funny to see.
You can't handle that, then maybe you should get off YouTube. Because if you fuck with somebody, they're guaranteed to fuck with you back.
On one hand, you're right when someone's intelligence is being challenged like yours was, but that doesn't mean that it always works out for the person that feels they're being challenged. 9 times out of 10, they end up getting their logic thrown back at them and become a laughingstock. Kinda like you. Weird.
You scary skeletons and shivers down your spine.
And about the I Stand Alone video, I officially am apologizing for that. I was really mad, and yeah, that wasn't even more specifically about Blazing Rants. That was about the people that go to my videos and thumbs them down just because I made them, okay? That fucking, the Pokemon is satanic and the Mario the Plumber, those were jokes. I wasn't being, like, serious or anything about that. I was joking.
The like and dislike bar should tell you something when you get dislikes on your video. It should tell you that an audience isn't getting a laugh out of your jokes because they weren't funny, or that your rants were full of assumptions and opinions based on those said assumptions.
Personally, I don't have an issue with opinion-based rants, but I do have a problem with it when those people go stating their opinion as freaking fact. Opinions cannot be facts! So when you say fact, or as a matter of fact, or the fact of the matter is, before stating opinions, then don't be surprised when people start thinking that you're full of crap. You can make the hyperbole excuse afterwards, but it really ain't worth shit when you already claimed fact. I have so much more, but I'm gonna wait for him to finish before I say it.
In those videos, and you guys, that's what you did. You went to those videos, you thumbs them down just because I made them. And you're doing that you did that just to give me a bad reputation. I understandably was pissed off about that. Okay, if somebody did that to you, you would probably be pissed off too.
So, let me get this straight. You wish death on people, not because of a differing opinion, not because we made commentaries on you. You wish death on people simply because people clicked the dislike button on your videos. That is so much lower than what I originally thought. Do you realize that any random person can dislike a video for any reason imaginable at all? Welcome to fucking YouTube, where anybody and their drunken uncle can dislike a video just because. You're no special fucking case. I give no fucks how angry you were about that. That is no viable reason to wish death on people. And don't you dare say that anyone else would do the same, because that is behavior of the lowest degree. If that is something you do over something as minuscule and stupid as this, then there are some serious questions you need to ask yourself.
But people like you, Scarlet Otaku, and Blazing Ranch can't understand that shit because they've never had that happen to them. Look at this like-dislike ratio right here. There's not a single thumbs down on your video. You can't understand what it's like to have that. Okay, and yours is a commentary. Every time I make a compelling intellectual video, I get fucking panned from every which direction. I'm starting to think that the only reason people thumb your video up is because you're a girl, and they picture you being hot. You know what? I fucking hate having to say that. That hurts me on the inside, the fact. But in reality, that's what I think it is. I think your fans are just a bunch of prepubescent teens who are fucking jacking off to your videos. You know what? I should have a better explanation for that, but that's all I can think of, because you guys are just...
Whoa. Okay, let me just say, I do know what it's like to have people dislike your videos for the sake of disliking them. Attack on Tryhard back in 2012 was a troll account that went around spewing dislikes and irrational statements. They went after everyone in the commentary community and practically made the environment of the community hostile and negative. There are videos that I've made that have gotten a lot of dislikes from them simply because they didn't like me. And I'm not gonna lie, the first statements and the constant dislikes were funny because it was ridiculous, but after a while, it got old, annoying, and it started to get to me. It was hard for me to distinguish people that actually gave a shit about my content from people who just flat out didn't like me just because they didn't like me. Me being a girl has nothing to do with people liking my content. Everyone in the community is fair game, even the ones that make good content now and then.
You know what? I'm genuinely shocked. This is the first time I've debated another human being who used my gender as an excuse for people to agree with me, instead of trying to make a decent rebuttal. Out of all the people I've debated, this is a first. But if you really want to pull that out of your ass, you see this video I made on you? Well, not everyone was a fan of that video. In fact, another member of the commentary community was going to commentate on that video. I'm not going to name names, but he's someone in the CC that I do respect quite a bit. He mentioned some of the flaws in my video, and it does make sense why those would be problems. This was before your commentary on me, so I was actually expecting you to bring up those points in your video, but instead you resorted to using personal attacks instead of debunking the points that were flawed, which shocked both me and the guy who almost made a commentary on my video. So this excuse is pure bullshit.
I'm sorry that my voice is cracking. I'm not... Man, it sounds like I'm about to fucking cry. I'm not gonna cry, but... See, it was about the pain in my chest I'm talking about. It's a thing.
It's okay, you can cry. I ain't gonna judge ya. Blaze ain't gonna judge ya.
Don't bet on it.
No one's judging you! Well, except for the tryhards that say that you can't cry about shit like this, but they're idiots, so go ahead and let the waterworks flow, bruh.
Please, just, let's stop this, okay? Peace out, fuck off, I don't care. You take this as whatever you want.
There's a couple of girls and just won't leave you be.
Okay, here's the thing. I honestly never remotely disliked you or hated you as you claimed. However, due to your behavior in both your videos and in the comments, you really start to challenge my patience with that. As for this whole smear campaign, that's a load of crap because you have clearly demonstrated through your poor behavior that you do not deal well with any form of criticism or differing opinions. And the one thing that I'm now stuck to think about is the fact that you wish death on people for something as retarded as clicking the dislike button. If stupid shit like that would piss you off to the point of wishing death on people, then maybe YouTube isn't for you. Not to mention that you decided it would be a good idea to threaten to give our info to fucking Nambla because some people on DeviantArt apparently left some hate comments. I don't agree with anyone leaving hate comments at all, but you would threaten to give our personal info to a website that supports fucking pedophilia simply because some random ass idiots that we have no affiliation with or control over decide to leave the supposed hate comments? Makes perfect fucking sense to me. Listen here, asshat. You had some people actually fearing for their fucking safety, and yet you have the goddamn nerve to sit there on your pedestal and play the victim, and calling other people the worst people on the internet, and that we should be ashamed of ourselves, all while knowing what you did. Shame on you. Oh, so what about that smear campaign again? How dare you sit there after that and act like we should give you any kind of respect? You may have apologized for wishing death on people, but the fact that you threatened people's safety and robbed them of their peace of mind and just blatantly fucking ignored that while playing victim makes the apology worthless. After doing some more research on you, one could argue that you're at an age where your behavior would be excusable, but I highly disagree. You are at an age where you can surely apply yourself to comprehending how the world works and what is and isn't proper behavior, or even how to acknowledge your own mistakes. So no, I'm not going to excuse your age for this mess because you're old enough to actually understand the basics of proper behavior for certain situations. You need to grow up and learn them.
You know, I did want to talk to you on Skype and see if we can come to some common ground and come to an understanding as to why this happened, but you ignored me 3 times I sent you that contact request. But when I went through a side door and started talking to you on DA about Klonoa, you've shown that you're open to discussion and can be a civil person, but only to the people that haven't criticized you. And for the people who did, you threatened to dox them and share their personal information with a bunch of people that support pedophilia. And then I question whether you actually have a brain working in that head of yours. After this, I wouldn't be surprised if you did block my DA account because of this commentary. But hey, it'll at least prove how immature and insecure you really are. And the threat that you have made against Blaze and anyone affiliated with her leaves me with more questions of your character if you choose to reveal our personal information to a bunch of pedos. I'm not personally afraid of this kind of threat because if you choose to reveal our personal information and go through with that threat, I can easily call the authorities and you can get arrested for revealing personal information online and being affiliated with a group like NAMBLA. So, good luck with that!
Hey guys, this is Jax. Today I'm going to do a commentary on a message to Zoe Velasco. Now, if you don't know who's Zoe Velasco, she's the girl with the blonde hair or yellow, and she has a superhero outfit, and she's cute. Now, let's get to this message, shall we?
Okay. Let's just, well, okay, so the context of this video is kind of, well, it's not lost, it's just vague. I have no idea who the Zoe person is, but apparently she sounds like a generic cartoon character. Blonde to yellow hair that's a superhero. You're sure we're not talking about Supergirl? I looked up the name too, since you didn't provide any links in the description and all I got was a Go Animate channel, so I'm assuming that was who you were referring to. But still, I got several results with the name, including this opera singer.
Zoe Velasco, you really did something really cringy to me. You have violated Triat Loms's right to use the IRYO term on one of my videos. Triat Lom has the right, and I have the right, to use the IRYO term.
First of all, the IRL comment is really goddamn annoying. Second of all, I don't know who your beautiful friend is, but you and your friend needs to stop using the IRL comment. Because you're so fucking annoying.
And I continue to have no idea what's going on. Aren't terms and comments part of freedom of speech? You can't really own rights to certain comments or terms. That's like saying, I own the rights to the term for Joshi and no one else can say it but me. I mean, if it's a joke that you originally came up with, then I'd see your argument, Mr. Strawberry. But you say it's a term, which isn't really the same thing. Let me put it like this. Weeaboo was a term used to describe someone who is obsessed with Japan that they disown their ethnicity because Japan is so great. And the term no you is a phrase used to describe the kind of argument that's equivalent to a playground insult like nuh-uh. Yes, there are those that originally come up with the phrase and it's more apparent to showcase where they came from, like with no you coming from this pretty princess right here. But Weeaboo comes from 4chan, which is a community of people on that website. Either way though, while they are the origins of their respective terms, they can't file any kind of infringement on the term or phrase because they are both used in the public domain, which is free to everyone. As for you, Mr. Jax, it's really annoying is all you can say. I mean, if you've heard the comment so much that it's gotten to that point, I'm not going to say that I would disagree, but just saying, stop saying that comment, it's annoying, doesn't really help any. It's just kind of there.
So do not violate any of my friends or of any of my rights.
I'd Actually, you're the one violating everyone, and violating their rights, dumbass.
Hey, there's no need for such rude language, mister. Plus, that entire interjection was nothing but a no you. Is there really nothing here for you to say? Apparently not, since you repeat the previous statement in your last interjection after this, while also saying that it's being said too much. If words like that really bug you, then I don't know what else to tell you. There are terms and phrases that could be a lot worse than what you're griping about, and while I can understand the mild annoyance, it's just that. Mild. If it was a phrase or term that was being used so much in the wrong context, then you'd have a stronger stance. But right now, all I'm seeing is a petty argument over a phrase that really isn't that big of a deal. So with that, let's move on to video number 2. This one comes from Lowry Powerpuff. Aw, that's a cute name.
Hey guys, it's Lowry here, and today I am going to do a commentary on a rant on me.
I'm sorry, but the audio is really bad in this one. There's so much background noise that I think that from the noise itself, it's safe to assume you recorded this in the car while driving, which is not safe! Don't commentate and drive, kids.
This is a Go Animate style rant out of me, so anyways, let's get started.
Larry Powerpuff, more like Larry Powerguff. Oh my gosh.
The X, more like Y term is disabled due to people keeps... It's overused. Stop using that term.
Again with this? Oh boy. I'm not going to repeat myself, but I will say this. You missed on something here, Lowry. The joke that this person was trying to make wasn't even executed well. Why harp on the joke being overused when you could point out how poorly it was done and how that contributes to the annoyance of the joke being overused? At the very least, it would provide some substance to an argument that has been made before.
That is the worst user on YouTube. Let's make angry messages and other stuff. As a boyfriend, too.
Don't you dare make lies about Hattie. You are being mean to him. I don't like it when people be mean to Hattie like this at all.
Don't you dare talk about me, or my son, or my son, or my son, or my great-grandson, or my great-great-great-grandson, or my bunny rabbit ever again, Baka!
Makes other videos as well. And it tells me in trouble. Other stuff. Look, it's a series as well.
Really? How do I even know that? First of all, I am almost 13 years old and I want to be like this big. You need to stop ranting on an almost teenager named Lowry, which is me. Stop.
I couldn't tell what the person you were covering was mumbling about, but there is something I still want to address with you, Miss Lowry. Your age doesn't protect you from detractors or critique. If you want to be big on the internet, you need to understand that the internet can be an unforgiving place at times. When people have anonymity, it can give them the illusion that they can get away with pretty much anything. Heck, there are even some scary places on the net that you definitely shouldn't go to. If you take that into consideration and grow a thick skin, not caring about what others say to you when they try to hurt you, your mental health will be a lot better off. But that also doesn't mean that you should shut out any means of critique that may come your way. Like me!
So, Caesar, him. Oh, do you not like Larry Powerpuff as well?
Uh-oh, not the... Do you know who likes this thing? It's annoying.
Okay, so this kind of goes hand in hand with what I said to Mr. Jax earlier, so I'm just gonna try and expand on this a little. Jokes are indeed subjective, but there comes a point when a joke can overstay its welcome. This being something that you could have easily critiqued, Miss Lowry. I can say at least I've heard this joke before and that you're not wrong, but if there were ways of taking a joke like that and mixing it up, I'd suggest doing so. Just saying that something is annoying due to the oversaturation of said phrase or joke does nothing to solve the problem. It only causes trolls to take advantage of people's annoyances and use the joke more often.
So good, so let's go Larry Powerpuff. Let's go be a chorus key.
The screw X and the screw Y term is annoying me. I hate it so much. And you dare say stuff about B Creek Kai? She's way better than you. And the reason why she has that type of grammar is she's from a different country, so stop. She speaks like 4 languages. And I speak 2.
I can't tell if you're being genuine with that last retort, or you're just trying to hype up your friend so that you have a reason to put this guy down. Even if your friend is that great, throwing them under the bus just so that you look good is really mean, and friends shouldn't do that to each other. Do I have to put you both in the timeout corner? I'll do it! Don't make me! The rest of the video is her rebutting against being better than the 20th century logo, and using a term incorrectly, wrapping it up with an F-. Lowry, don't let someone like this waste your time. It was clear that this person wanted to get a rise out of you, and the best solution would have been to ignore it, since it really had nothing but ad hominems. If you want to make it big anywhere, don't let bad people get under your skin and do what you want to do. I feel like this video could have been avoided had you ignored it and went on about your day, and maybe a lot safer if you didn't commentate and drive. But in any case, we're on to our last video, so grab your popcorn and let's see what we have. This last video comes from Dakota. Yes, Amy, no, wait. Which Dakota are we talking about? Are we talking about this one, or this one, or this one, or... Actually, before we get started, I want to mention this since it's a problem with all 3 videos. Recording on your phone can be fine, but not if you keep it to portrait mode, because it leaves a lot of negative space to the sides and doesn't look very good. Even Strawberry Shortcake got the idea and turned his phone to the side to cover the entire screen, even if it's just showing us a minimalist floral print that I'm guessing is from his bed, but baby steps. The other problem I have is that all these videos were recorded with programs like either Mobizen or some other free video editor that leaves a watermark, which can be really distracting. My recommendation would be to use iMovie if you insist on recording with your phone or tablet, since, from my experience, it makes video editing easy, it's free, and it doesn't leave a nasty watermark. Plus, it's available for any and all Apple products, so all you gotta do is just go to the App Store and download it. There's also something I want to say about the video files themselves. They are far too big for their own good. The worst offender of this is the 3rd video, coming in at a whopping 60.6 megabytes! I'm sorry, but video files from your phone shouldn't be this big! And before someone wants to bring in the length of the video being a factor for this issue, I'd like to direct you to Scarlet's video on the problems with Windows Movie Maker. Longer than all 3 of these videos and coming in at 42.85 megabytes. Smaller than a video that is nearly 8.5 minutes long. Maybe it's your video editor saving it in that size, or you intentionally selecting it because you think that larger size means better quality. Either way, it takes up far too much space for your phone or tablet or whatever small computer you're using. If it were being saved on something like a desktop or laptop, it wouldn't be as big of an issue, but considering the average space for an iPhone is 16 to 64 gigabytes, it's alarming when your video saved is more than 12 megabytes of space, and can cause you some problems in the future if you continue to save files in such a large portion. Look, when you're in AI, you gotta know these things, okay?
Hello everybody, it's me again, Dakota as Duncan No, and you're wondering why I'm using Samey as my avatar.
No, I'm not.
So today's subject is on a user whose name is MichaelFan2013. Scott Michael for short. Well, he's an 11-year-old autistic kid who started being on the internet. Wait, when? Come on. He's 11 years old and he joined YouTube at 7? That's a young age. Anyways, the commentary that I'm going to be commentating on is his video on him losing his Wii U games, which I could not believe it was made 5 months ago. Well, it doesn't say that. It does make his channel wrong, but this video, come on.
I'll at least give you this. At a young age like that, it is alarming that he's on the internet if it's assumed that he's here without parental supervision. But I have to ask, why is that not as surprising as a video he made 5 months ago about losing his video games? Your priorities are out of whack, my dude!
So you lost your games for the Wii U. And why are you crying in the first place? I don't think it would be that bad. Well, if you're crying and want to, if you lost your Wii U games, you could just go ahead and go buy some new ones at GameStop or Walmart or even Amazon or eBay. It wouldn't be that bad, but since he doesn't have Amazon, I'm just gonna leave it be.
He's 11. He can't buy games himself unless he has an allowance that he saved up over time and the means to go to the stores to replace the games he lost. While it may not seem like a big deal to you and I, who are a little more mature about these kinds of things, bearing in mind the mentality of an 11-year-old who holds value in those kinds of things that make them happy, it's like losing $100. Also, could you please find a better place to record that's a bit more private? I can hear someone in your background interjecting along with you, and while I can't make out what they're saying entirely, I know they're trying to butt in on the video. The meanie.
Well, since you are autistic, I'm just gonna tell you that it's not the worst day of the world. And if you want your Wii U games, I just wanted you to go buy them. Well, just ask your mom to go buy them somewhere else. I don't want to repeat myself, but I'm sorry, I had to.
You really didn't have to repeat yourself. Like, at all. And bringing up his autism had no purpose to be brought up. What if the reason his games were taken away was because of him misbehaving or him breaking them? At that point, him asking his parents to buy him new games wouldn't work since he would be going through the consequences of his actions. He's of course allowed to be sad about what happened, but I don't really see his grief as commentary material.
So anyways, but that's not why you're here. But this is actually a double commentary. The next commentary is gonna be on Michael the Go Anime Guy.
What? A double feature commentary? And you start off with a kid crying over losing his games? Well, that's just fine and dandy now, isn't it? Gosh golly gee, I wonder what Mr. Michael the Go Anime Guy has done this week. Oh no, did he steal all the cookies from the cookie jar? The fiend!
Yep, I had to facepalm on that one. Yep, almost every single one of his videos are cringe-worthy. Yep, just look at this.
I would love to.
Really?
Stop shaking the camera.
Yes, just look at this. I'm actually doing commentary on one of his rants, which came out yesterday. So, wait. Hey, what? What is rant? I can't believe it. I can't believe I'm doing a commentary on one of his recent rants. They're so cringeworthy. So anyways, let's go ahead and get started.
Before that, though, that joke was bad. I mean, when you try to take into account that you could just not do the commentary on one of his rants, it doesn't make the joke work knowing that. How do you commentators do this?
Before I start this rant, to anyone who likes this month from 2014, I respect your opinion.
First of all, there's a problem with this rant. The I respect your opinion term is absolutely old. It's been old since earlier this year. So, just say you know the drill.
And all this comes full circle! Yeah! The phrase, I respect your opinion, has been around long before that, and has been used in different contexts. A lot of the time, it's in defense of an unpopular opinion the user of the phrase has to try and avoid detractors. And before you start to say that it's annoying, it's not going away, so just don't try. Sorry.